Hello, my gorgeous group ones. Welcome to your reading. If you chose thumbnail image one, then welcome. Or number one, group one. Today, we're going to be getting into your personality versus your looks. So, what does your personality give versus what your looks give? And I already pulled some cards for y'all because I was sitting here sucking a lollipop, child. I haven't had one in so freaking long. And I've been hungry all day at work and didn't bring lunch. And I'm just like, I'm hungry, I need something. I had a lollipop in my bag and one of the biggest, right? The big ones, right? And I was like, I can't stop and do the reading. I have to finish this first. So while I'm sitting here, let me pull the cards. So let me stop this because I know it's going to be annoying. Okay, sorry. So, anyway, what I don't know why I know why I mentioned lollipop anyway. So, Lord, let me calm down. So I was pulling cards before I started your reading because I wanted to finish my lollipop. There we go. Moral of the story. It also tied really well into the cards that came out for you guys. Now, another thing that I realized is when I was pulling the cards, I was asking about both looks and personality. And all the cards kind of like reflect each other in a really good way. So I guess your personality and looks aren't that far off, but I will, try to differentiate in the reading. So we have the Page of Swords, which immediately was like giving me student, youthful, young, quiet, introspective, maybe a little nerdy or bookwormy is the vibe that I'm getting, okay? It's definitely giving educated, I love school. You know what I mean? Especially because she's wearing this is kind of giving me a school uniform. The way we wear like the button down shirts. She's dressing it up though with a sweater. And the pants have they're rolled up. So she's styling her uniform. So while you may look like a schoolgirl or a schoolboy, you may not actually be in school. That just may be your aesthetic. But it's something you kind of style. That's your style, Then for the Eight of Cups, it was kind of giving me someone who is like skittish kind of energy. Like the Page of Swords is also giving me like naive in a kind of way where you like to observe and look and listen and learn, so you don't really talk much. So you could definitely be quiet. And bookworms are usually quiet because they're tied up in a book or they're just a little shy. So your looks can give shy as well as your personality. I feel like your personality and looks kind of like go hand in hand, which is why when I was asking, I'm like, wait, I realized after the cards came out, I'm like, did I even ask? I was asking for personality one second, then looks the next second. So it's kind of like, and the way the cards came out, they're kind of giving the same vibe. So, okay. So then we have the Eight of Cups, which is walking away from things. Like I said, shy, quiet, introspective. You're not really much of a chatter. You don't really chat too much. You like to, read and keep to yourself. You're in your own little world. That's what your looks are giving. Okay, it's like closed off, innocent kind of thing. And then we have the Two of Swords, which is playing into that whole naive, indecisive, like I'm just a girl kind of thing. I just came from school. I don't really want to think too hard or do too much. I'm still youthful and innocent kind of thing. So a little indecisive. I haven't said it already. Then we had the triangle, which I saw first, which is Two of Swords, indecision. So you look like someone who can't make up their mind. I don't know what that would look like, but it's giving someone who's very youthful, who really hasn't experienced much life. So they're giving an experience, So you're kind of giving an experienced little version of the kind of vibe that I'm getting from you guys. Because then we also have the Rabbit. So you're giving like peak innocence where people just want to, let me not get into that. That's not what we're getting into here, okay? You're giving how those big, dusty, crusty old men would love to like sully an innocent rabbit like you is the vibe that I'm getting. So you could have like a lot of raunchy, dirty old men or women who like lust after you because you're giving virginal, you're giving sweet, you're giving inexperience, whether you are or aren't. This is what your looks are giving. This has nothing to do with personality yet, I feel like. So I think your looks is what's more so coming through. And then we have wife, engagement. So it's giving blushing bride, right? People talk to you, you blush, you kind of look down, you look a little reserved. You know what I mean? I'm hearing the sweater. Because anytime you're going to see a nerd girl in the movie, you're going to see her bundled up in her sweater. You're going to see her holding her books to her chest. You're going to see her looking down. You're going to see her like fixing her glasses. You know what I mean? Hair always in a ponytail. But it's definitely giving you a stylish nerd, if anything, right? And I'm not using the word nerd in a derogatory way. I'm just saying The look that you're giving is nerd, core, chic. You know what I mean? But it's definitely giving blushing bride, okay? It's giving, I listen to my mom, my pa. And if they say I'm going to get married and I'm going to be in an arranged marriage, it's fine with me. I don't really speak up for myself. You know what I mean? I'm not like argumentative or bold or in your face. I'm more so in the background, fading into the background, you know? I'm also hearing like theater kid. So you could have been a theater kid as well. They're kind of trumped into the same category as nerds, I feel like, because no one who was the theater kid was ever seen as popular, even though the theater kids always become the more popular person, is what I get, because they're the people who are studying to become actors and actresses, and those people are going to one day be famous and in our faces and on our screens. So they grow up being the nerds and they blossom and bloom into the beautiful blushing bride. I wanted to say no, but maybe for some of you. And they bloom into the cool cat who all the girls like, you know. The main example when I was explaining that is Milo Manheim, I think his name is. He's been like popping up on my TikTok for the longest time, and I know who he is because I saw his season of Dancing with the Stars. And that's when I realized he was, what's the lady's name? If any of you watch Ghost Whisperer, Melinda's best friend, Delia is her name, I think it is. Her person in real life, the actress, I forget her name. She adopted him, so he's her son. And I'm like, what? Not Delia from Ghost Whisperer? She would, you know, come and support him in the crowd, and that's something I realized when I was watching Dance with the Stars. I'm like, oh, she has a son? But I think she like did IVF or adopted him or something like that. Basically, he is the bona fide theater kid. When he was in Dancing with the Stars, he was nerdy, he was very goofy, very tall, very gangly, like hadn't really grown into his masculinity or his body quite yet, right? Giving I'm hearing twink, excuse me. Okay, so that's coming through for some of you, but it's like, you know, the skinny, gangly, all limbs and you know, hands and feet, you know, maybe a little clumsy kind of energy. And he was like how he doesn't understand how all the girls love him now because he grew up as a theater kid and those guys are always seen as nerdy and weird and stuff like that. But now he's giving heartthrob. He can sing, he can act. And I'm like, those are who the theater kids grow up to be. The Brad Pitts, the George Clooney's, the Milo Manheims, right? And he just sees himself as a dorky, charismatic theater kid, right? And the people who are attracted to the books, who are attracted to theater, who are attracted to things that are not seen as overly popular in high school are usually the people that have a lot of personality beneath and the persona or the looks they give off, right? Because the book girls or, you know, the book talk girlies are reading the smut, the dark romance, and we're giving, oh, we're so, you know, educated and smart and studious, but you don't know the things we be reading, child. The things we be reading is crazy. And most of the time what you read, you're willing to reenact in a relationship or in the bedroom, whatever. So the manner or men are out here thinking, oh, she's just so virginal and pure, but then you're going to be putting it down in the bedroom. You're going to be doing all kinds of stuff, right? And I'm hearing a siren outside, so that's my confirmation. So yeah, that's the vibe that's coming through for you guys. You're kind of giving someone who may give off, you know, shy and meek and da-da-da-da, but I feel like underneath it all, you're definitely giving your personalities, what we're going to get into next, is giving just like, you know, hardcore. It's giving, I'm not even going to say what came through my mind, okay? We're just going to keep going because this is not supposed to be 18 plus, child. But basically your personality is giving you get down in the bedroom, child. You know what I mean? I heard gobble gobble is what I heard, right? And if you're grown, you know what gobble gobble means. Whether you're a guy or a girl, whether you like guys or girls. You know what I mean? Use a munch, use an eater, right? Okay, now let's get into your personality. So you're giving sweet, innocent, cutesy rabbit, pregnancy fears, choices, indecision, wife, engagement. Like, do you know where I'm, like, what's the direction? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing, you know? Personality for my group ones. Please, spirit personality. We have temperance. Okay. So your personality is an even mix is what I'm hearing. Of good and bad, dark and light. So I'm hearing dark humor, but also there is some innocence in your personality as well. Or some vibrancy, some lighthearted is what I'm hearing as well. My group ones, why did that fly out like that? Group one's personality. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, your personality is way more attractive than your looks, I would say, or way more interesting, I should say. Because looks are just like looks. We want to know how you act, what you do, the vibes, right? Personality always tends to be, for some people, right, better than the looks, okay? So for you guys, I'm hearing you're a treasure. You are how can I describe it? Yeah, you're a treasure. Yeah, like when someone's like, "Oh my gosh, have you met group one?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're such a treasure." You know what I mean? A treat. There it is. That's the actual word I was looking for. They're such a treat. Your personality is a treat. Okay, whatever that freaking means for you. We have. Can we get more cards for my group one's personalities, please? Personalities for my group ones. I keep wanting to call you group three, so maybe some of you are going to feel called to group three as well. We have Nine of Pentacles. So your personality is definitely, I'm hearing, well developed, very grown, very mature. So even though you do look on the more innocent, sweet, cutesy side, your personality is giving, like I said, well developed. And that's what happens sometimes when I'm hearing the vibe, people who were not seen as attractive when they were younger, which is also playing into the whole theater kid, nerd kid, bookworm girl thing. You have more time to hone your personality because that's what has to bring the people in, right? That's what has to have to make them stay if your looks aren't doing it. And it's kind of giving how the girls who are seen as innocent and too sweet kind of energy, the guys don't approach because like, oh, she's not gonna put out, she's not gonna do that, she's not gonna do this. Or the guys who are seen as too sweet, oh, well, he's too submissive, he's too this, he's too that kind of energy, you know. And it's giving you have to your personality, you have to use your personality to kind of get you places. So your personality is well developed. Whereas other people who were seen as like the standard of beauty, whatever you want to call it, they didn't really have to do much to get people to be attracted to them or even stay. Because you could be attractive, group one, which I'm pretty sure you are, okay, because you're very stylish, right? There's something here about like dark hair. I'm hearing waves, a lot of hair. It could be very thick, very dense, okay? But your looks is giving like sweet, oh my gosh, I can't touch her. I don't want to sully her good name. Or she's going to be too innocent. Like I said, not going to put out for me if the guys are looking at you in that kind of way, you know? Or inexperienced, whatever. And they're not going to want to give you the time of day or the chance because they're like, oh no, she's too sweet. I need someone who's more grown and worldly and whatever. You know what I mean? That's the kind of energy coming through for you guys. So you've had time to kind of hone your personality, right? You're also someone who's very like independent. I'm hearing very assertive, very sure of yourself. That's what the Nine of Pentacles always gives me. Someone who has fully grown to who they are. So you know who you are and there's no like mistaking or there's no second guessing or wondering, right? So very bold. Then we have the Hermit. You do have moments of being very introverted, which is why we have this Temperance card coming through here, because I feel like the light to the dark would be, you can be both. So ambiverted. You can be introverted and extroverted in your personality, right? So maybe one minute you are shy around certain people or just more quiet, more reserved. But for the most part, you're definitely giving someone who's sure of themselves. They know what they want. They're going to go after what they want. If they want to talk to the cute guy, they're going to talk to him. Like, and not even in a way of, oh, I'm sure I have a crush on him. It's like, he's a person. I talk to people. That's what I do. Like, you know what I mean? Very sociable kind of person, okay? Also like very serene, very easy to smile. We have a woman here with like big brown curls, so that could be something coming through for you guys, like a full head of curls. And that was also coming through over here with the full head of hair, okay? Very thick, very dense. That's coming through for you guys. It's going to resonate if it resonates. We have the Hermit card, so that's coming out under the Temperance card. And that's why it's kind of giving me, you do have moments of being very more quiet and introspective. But the Nine of Pentacles is also giving me someone who is also very extroverted when they're ready, you know? Then we have the Nine of Swords. So there's a part of your personality that seems like anxious, fearful, unsure of yourself sometimes. And I'm sure this also depends on the setting you're in. If you're in a setting that makes you comfortable, you're going to be in Nine of Pentacles energy. If you're in a setting that makes you a little uncomfortable, you're going to be in the Hermit and Nine of Swords kind of energy, okay? But remember, we also have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune signifies being able to change. One time or sometimes you're going to be at the top of the wheel. Life is going good. Life's going great. You're out there talking to everyone. And then on the other side, sometimes you're going to be at the bottom of the wheel where life's going not so great, where you're very like, troubled and sad and you don't really want to talk to anyone. And that's like the cycles you kind of go through in personality, while your looks are still giving, oh, sweet and innocent. So I feel like that's why I was getting the vibe of your personality coming through in the looks cards as well. And then we have 10 of Pentacles at the, why did I want to say bottom of the deck? No. We have 10 of Pentacles reversed. Okay? But I'm not going to put it there because I love how we have the 9 of Pentacles and then we have the 10 of Pentacles. So it's going to be upright like the rest of the blasted cards, okay? So your personality is definitely giving very, I'm hearing homely, right? Some of you could be like have more body weight on you. So you're a little thicker, right? You're a little more busty. That's what 10 of Pentacles kind of giving me, how they say, like, it's like giving mom bod. Like you have the childbearing hips, you have the bosoms, you have the little tummy, the fupa, whatever you want to call it. And that's kind of like what your personality is giving. Right, if that makes sense. And also we have pregnancy and fears, and we have a cute little chubby bunny. So this is the look side. So maybe you are a little chubby or cutesy or chunky, right? Because kids are seen as more having the chunky cheeks and the plush face and the round chubby fingers and the cute little foldy thighs. I'm sorry. One of my friends had a baby recently, and they keep showing me pictures of him, and he's the cutest little chunk of monk. He has the perfect little crease in the thighs. When babies are so chunky, the thighs start creasing. I just want to bite it. It's so cute, and that can be the cuteness aggression people want to experience with you. Like, oh, you're so cute. I just want to pinch your cheeks, right? Very annoying. As someone who experiences that quite often. Very annoying, but it's coming through, and I'm sorry for that if it annoys you. Okay, let's get some cards from this deck for your personality. You also, like I said, yeah, you're very well developed. You have 9 of Pentacles and 10 of Pentacles. Someone who has had the time to pour into themselves. You know yourself very well. You know what I mean? Very charismatic, but then, like I said, you like flip a switch, and the next minute you're like very quiet, like leave me alone, right? This is very well balanced in that kind of way. It really just depends on the day, is what I just heard. Here we have old woman, sadness, female. That could be the 9 of Swords coming through. Sometimes your personality does come off a little sad or reserved, Then we have a dove, and I love how I was going to mention she's touching a dove in the 9 of Pentacles. Right here. And then we have a dove coming out, which is peace and serenity. And that would also be, how can I say it to make sense? It does make sense because we also have temperance here. So like a very even, moderately temperamental person, right? Or moderately tempered person. I don't think you ever really get angry. People only see you as either very outgoing, very well balanced, very mature. They see you as like someone's like more sad. Yeah. Okay, so dove, you have peace, serenity, or you're very peaceful. You keep the peace. Yeah, and it's funny how I was saying moderately, whatever. I'm hearing moderator, right? So someone who keeps the peace, someone's like very much like very serene. Nothing really gets you upset. No one has ever seen you blow up or go off the rails. You know what I mean? How some people like start cussing people out in public. I don't think people have ever seen you like that. So your personality is kind of giving someone who is even-tempered, right? Someone who may deal with a little bit of sadness, but you still have like a really like a soft smile for certain people, You're never overly like, leave me alone, I don't want to talk to nobody. You're like, you give them a smile if you're not feeling your best, you know what I mean? But you do have those moments of like being very like hermited, if that makes sense. Then we have more cards coming through. Let's see what these cards say. We have the Gazelle, change and purity. So purity coming through again. And that's what I was saying about your personality and looks kind of, there being an overlap. Because for these cards, when they first came out, I'm like, is it for looks or personality? I forget, I asked for both and they came out. So your personality and looks aren't that far off, okay? Ooh, what? I just had a sharp pain in my leg. What the heck? Change purity. Sorry. And then the Gazelle is kind of like also give me a doe a dare, a female deer. So like very, innocent, doe-eyed, that kind of thing keeps coming through. Now we have stability and growth. That is that 9 of Pentacles and 10 of Pentacles vibe coming through. So maybe some of you are like very stall. My mind is thinking of two different words. That's why stall came out. Maybe you're private. Your personality is very private, because when I think of a stall, I think of a bathroom stall, and they're there to give us privacy in public, right? But stability, growth, you're tall or stocky. Because trees can either be really tall and skinny, or tall and stocky, short and stocky, short and skinny. You know what I mean? That's what the personality is giving, which is very interesting for a looks trait to be coming out with personality, okay? This could be something about your looks where it gives your personality is very like strong. It's full on, where it feels like someone's being like towered over by a tree, What word can I think of for that kind of personality? Towering? It fills a room, it fills, Okay. Now we have cat, jealousy and gossip. Your personality is definitely giving a little bit black cat when you're ready, okay? Maybe you do gossip. Maybe you do get jealous. I don't know you that well. I can't say if you can or can't. I'm not getting that much from personality, but I do think this cat is representing black cat. Because before I started the reading, I told myself if it came out, that's what I would be using these cards for, okay? Some of you can be dainty, because I'm hearing like how birds' bones are very delicate, and we have the dove for you. So very delicate for some of you. If you're women watching, it's definitely getting very delicate. Definitely giving a little like on the shorter side. I'm not really getting that tall for you. Your personality is giving tall though, right? A little delicate, soft-spoken, maybe, Like I said, people don't really see you scream and rage and get crazy. So they're just like, oh, this person's like, so mature for their age is what I'm hearing, How obnoxious. Let me stop. Those are compliments, I guess. Like, we have the moose. I love how we keep getting the moose and the gazelle out at the same time. They give me the same energy. But here we have acceptance and eccentric. This is that whole temperance energy. You've kind of integrated, if you will, the both sides of yourself. You've kind of come to peace with the fact that most people are going to see you this way. So that could be how you act out in public when you're around people you don't feel comfortable with. People have labeled you as the innocent girl, so you're going to act like the innocent girl. People have labeled you as the bookworm or the nerd or the theater kid, and that's how you kind of move through the world. But there's another side that people have not seen, which would be the moon and the temperance card. People always see you on with a nice smile to give, happy, well put together, mature, you know what I mean? But there's like a side of you people haven't seen, and that's what keeps kind of coming through with the cards that I'm getting. That's the vibe, the mood. We have an eccentric side to you that not everybody gets to see, okay? But it's a side that you've kind of accepted. Usually, and it's funny how I was mentioning theater people, and theater people usually have very big, very interesting, outspoken personalities. You know what I mean? They have to be very on and out and vocal and extra, because that's the stuff they put into their craft. So people who are theater kids were never like shy. They were always like, I want to be seen. You know what I mean? And it's kind of giving me a few people that I went to school with. In Florida, when I did used to do musical theater, did a musical theater class, and we kind of did a whole production of The Wiz, and there were certain people who were like very much giving main character energy, and they were just always so completely themselves, and I would always look at them like, wow, I wish I could be that one day, I think that was like my 9th grade year. So I was in 9th grade, and I was still like so shy, very buttoned up. I was always a weird kid, I'm not even gonna lie. But I only show that part of me at home with my at-home friends. When I was in school, I was not really showing the eccentric, weird part of me. I was just in public. I was at school. People were always like, oh my gosh, you look so sweet, innocent, and nice. I'm like, if only you knew. But go off, queen or king, whatever. And then I would get home with my at-home friends, and I would be really weird and really this and really that. And even when I was with them, I was only showing my weird side. And so I would be at home with my family, and then the weird comes out, because that's when you feel most comfortable, Those people you've known since you were from birth, stop it. And they can't really judge you. Even if they do, they're used to your antics by now. When you're making friends and trying to be or act or operate, I should say, in the real world, people love to judge. So there's a reason for like being a little bit more reserved. Like, you know, you can't really see all the parts of me, but it's like people have accepted that. But then there's also people who know of the eccentric side to you. So both parts of that personality is coming through. Because this reading is not only for people who see you in public. It's your personality, period. Okay? Yeah, so we have acceptance, and we have eccentric, and then we also have this very, like I said, oversized animal. So it's getting a little bit thicker for some of y'all. Some of you are dainty with the dove and the cat coming through. Others of you are, sorry, I had to cough. Some of you, and even this big tall tree is getting kind of skinny. Like I said, that's the vibe that I was getting, like tall, skinny, gangly vibes. That could be who you are on both sides of it. But anyway, sorry. You have the bigger moose, who's like more, if you were to see a moose in public, people say they're huge. And I'm not in public. I mean, they be in public, right? In nature, I meant to say, but in public works too. They're huge, they're massive. And I'm like, I don't think I want to see one, but I'll take your word for it. You know what I mean? That's the vibe coming through for your personality, because this is coming out your personality house. You have a really big personality. Okay? But for some people, they only get to see like a fraction of it, is what I'm hearing. Okay. So I wanted to get some dice for each side, I should say. And I have 6, 2 of the same kinds of dice. So we'll do 1, 2, 3 for looks, and then these 3 for personality. Let's get into it. My group ones, their personality. We have 4th house. Yeah, very much at home in your shell. You don't really talk that much. You don't really say much. It's how your looks are giving, you know. For some of you, it could be giving like not RBF, but your face is like a little expressionless, if that makes sense. Where people are like, it's giving reserved. There's a resting RBF where you look mean, and then there's like serene. Could be a word coming through with the 4th house. Like a very serene, at peace look when people see your beauty, you know? Like I said, it's giving soft, delicate, you know what I mean? Always in the house, okay? Here we also have Sagittarius energy for your looks. So, yeah, it's funny how I was talking about childbearing hips, and some of you being a little like more, it's giving MILF, where you have kids, and the kids give you hips and thighs and booty and boobs. It's giving the Keke Palmer effect, where after she had her baby, she got real thick, but now it's all gone, y'all. I be feeling so bad for her. I'm like, Keke, you had it for a few months. You had it, sis. It's gone now, but you had it. Like, she was always a skinny person. She had her baby. After that, she was giving pow, pow, thighs, booty, boobs. You know what I mean? And then it's all gone at this point. She's back to being, you know, skinny Keke. Right? But there was a moment where she was like, oh, thick, right? But the Sagittarius energy always gives me someone who's like thick. You got a big booty, you got the hips, you got thighs, you got something. Okay, that's what the Sagittarius rules. Okay. So yeah, you were blessed in the bottom half department. I don't know much about the top half, but the Sag is giving bottom half. Okay. Now we have, I think this is Uranus. I'm pretty sure. I just be second guessing myself. We have Uranus coming through here for your looks. And Uranus is like maybe a little bit unusual. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not, you have an unusual look to you. Maybe alien-esque, or I'm hearing radical, erratic. Very interesting words for looks coming through. I'm hearing conservative. That would make more sense. But that has nothing to do with Uranus, though. For your looks, Uranus. So maybe some of you could be alternative, or like I said, you wear whatever you want to wear. Excuse me, because when I'm thinking of theater kids, they used to wear very, very interesting things. When I was in high school and they were doing theater, it's very interesting, very self-expressionary or Tory, expressive. I don't freaking know all the past tenses and future tenses of the word, but self-expression is a big thing for your looks. Okay, you express yourself and put your own little spin on your look. So if you went to school and had to wear uniform, you were putting your own spin on it, right? And it's giving me, who can I use as an example? Raven, for example. I believe from That's So Raven, did she have to wear uniform? No, there's a specific person on one of those shows who had to wear uniform, but they would always put their own spin on it, right? I think maybe it could have been London Tipton from Sweet Life, Zack and Cody, when she started going to Maddie's religious school, Catholic school. But there's a specific character I'm thinking of who they had to wear uniform and they kind of put their own spin on it. But that's the vibe that I'm getting for you guys. You kind of do your own thing when it comes to how you dress yourself. But it's kind of like the face, the body shape, whatever. It's always kind of like giving kind of cutesy, innocent vibe. With the rabbit, chunky cheeks for some of you, okay? Really big, innocent eyes is what I'm getting as well. Headbands, bows. Others of you are always wearing white, right? And yeah, I mean, this girl in the Two of Swords can kind of give this Uranus, Aquarius kind of energy. Where she's wearing all black, her hair is cut black, the black curls around her, that's her aesthetic, all black, okay? And that's why in school you were maybe looked at as different. So you were the bookworm, the theater kid, or the alternative chick, the goth chick, right? And everyone was like, what are you doing? You know, and you're like, I'm doing me. Mind your business, truly. Anyway, now, for their personality, please, Spirit, give me some advice for their personality. Here we have 12th house. Yeah, there's something a little secretive about you or hidden. You people don't get to see, this is what I was speaking about people don't really get to see the full, you know, your shape of you, the full scope of you. They don't really know who you are because you keep a part of you hidden, you know? Pisces also hear about someone like being very introspective, the psyche, secrets, like all the mysterious, the spiritual, the deep. It's like Neptune energy. So someone you don't really know, or someone who you see or they hang around a lot, but you don't know much about. You hear about them through the grapevine, but you don't know much about them, right? It's kind of like giving lore, Lore. Because 12th house always kind of makes me think of, or Neptune, both, makes me think of mermaids or fairies or mythological creatures. And we know of them. There's a lore behind them. But do we know if any of those things are actually true? No. So when it comes to your personality, people are talking, it's giving, do you even know who she is? Where is she? He, they, them. Doesn't really matter. Like, we don't really know much about that person. You know, they kind of keep themselves tempered in public. They don't do too much. They don't talk too much. They don't smile too much. They don't interact too much. We just get to see what they want us to see. Is the kind of thing that's coming through for your personality, you know? 12th house, secrets, hidden in the deep, right? Maybe some of you are also giving kind of, like I said, lore, where people talk about you, don't really know much about you, right? And when I heard lore, I was thinking of a Taylor Swift album. I don't know what she called it, but there was like or there could be a song she has called Lore. I'm not 100% sure. But there's a bunch of like gossip around her. And she looks very sweet and innocent as well. Like when she first came out, she was definitely given the pure white dress, blonde. Oh, that's also something that was coming through for you guys. When I was here smacking on my lollipop gum, I was hearing ringlets, curls, chubby cheeks, you know, all things that we attribute or put with babies and kids and innocence. The cute curls, the ringlets, the Shirley Temples, specifically what I would see. This came through to remind me of that. Thank you, Spirit. I appreciate you. So I'm like, oh, the message be coming through, which is why I wait for the cards to come out during the reading or I wait for the reading to pull out the cards because the messages start coming in quick. And then I can't remember if I put the cards down and then I'm talking now. But yeah, I was getting Shirley Temple vibes, which it was really cute ringlet curls, okay? But when Taylor Swift first came out, she had those same ringlet curls. She was very innocent. I remember in her white dress and her little guitar, like giving very conservative, very reserved. It came from like a very conservative household, and I gotta listen to what mom and pa says, like I was saying over here, for looks. And she's coming out a little bit over here as well, because the older she got, the more out of her shell she became, and the more we know her, but we still don't know her. We mostly know her through her music, and that's her lore, right? Oh, it's also kind of giving me, there was a trend on social media where everybody was like, this is my lore, or this is what started my lore. And everyone has a different lore. You know, for some of you, it could be romantices. For others of us, it could be friends to lovers. For others of you, it could be enemies to lovers. And there's certain things in your childhood that attributed to you loving that trope. And they started listing authors or just people in general started listing books, movies, shows from their childhood that got them into writing about certain things or only being a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? So for example, my lore would be Charmed. My lore would be Buffy. My lore would be Ghost Whisperer. It would also be Disney Channel. It would be a bunch of stuff. And that kind of like all played a part in who I became now. And it would make a lot of sense. Oh, she used to watch all those things. Astrology will be a part of my lore as well. You know what I mean? And they would say, oh, it makes sense. She's a tarot reader. So we understand where her lore came from. You know what I mean? That's the kind of energy that's coming through. There's a lore about you guys, right? Okay, so now we have North Node. And North Node is all about destiny, right? And it's funny how it's talking about what made you who you are today. That's kind of like a destiny in a way. The things you've gone through to get you to where you're supposed to be, right? So your personality, you could talk about, your personality is giving spiritual person for you guys. Someone who talks about their spiritual journey, who talks about all the things, I call them woo-woo things. You know, they talk about past lives, they talk about karma, they talk about spiritual awakenings, dark night of the soul, astrology, growth, you talk about root work, hoodoo, aliens, you know, astrology, you talk about all those things, and that is a part of your lore, your personality, right? And the fact that I even thought about lore, I should say, means there is something like very mystical and magical about your personality, okay? Whether it's what you like to do and who you are, or it's what you talk about, or you give off a very magical, mystical, unreal kind of energy. And with the 12th house coming through on the personality side and the Uranus coming through on the look side, is definitely giving like out of the box thinking and dressing, okay? So like I said, alternative, other stuff like that, maybe very cutesy kind of thing. I'm getting a little like maybe cottagecore for you guys. Mystical, right? So you're wearing like the crystals and you're wearing the chains and you're wearing the what else? There's specific things spiritual people wear, right? The evil eye, and you're wearing, you know, stuff like that. And that's kind of like a part of your lore. People are like, oh my gosh, we know she's spiritual just based on what she's wearing, or they. But we don't really know much about it because they don't talk to us about it, certain things, you know? And I feel like if you are someone where your personality is giving more discerning and more spiritual, you would know who to talk to and who to kind of like stay away from, right? Okay. So now here we have, we have Aquarius coming through again. So yeah, very out of the box. Very out of the box, radical, rebel. So you got like a very rebellious personality. That's kind of what I was saying when I got the Nine of Pentacles. Your soul's like very sure of themselves. You know what you want and where you're going. And you've grown into, I'm not going to be shy from that because of that person. I just want to talk to them. You know, Aquarians can be very friendly. They like to have conversations and get to know people and dive deep. But then it's like when someone asks questions about themselves, me? Why you want to know about me? Mind your business kind of energy is what I always get from Aquarius people, you know? Like they want to ask about you, but what about them? They're like, don't worry about me now. Don't do that. And I love how we have Aquarius vibes coming through on both parts. So looks and personality, okay? But Aquarius personality, very smart, very intelligent, sharp as a tack, okay? There's something here about you being a little bit, like I said, rebellious or outspoken about your ideals, your beliefs, things you want for the world. It's giving a little bit humanitarian vibes. So it's giving woke as well. That's the kind of energy your personality is giving versus your looks. Is there anything else coming through? But yeah, very imposing, a little bit intimidating, very sure of yourself. Like, you can't tell me what I can and can't do kind of thing, you know? So maybe people could be a little bit scared or wary of you because you could be a little bit argumentative as well. Or the smartest person in the room and nobody wants to argue with you, you know? It's the vibe that's coming through for you guys. But I'm going to leave your reading right there. I hope it resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. If you would ever like to book a personal reading with me, you could always get in contact with me. Use my email in the description box below. But I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye. Hello, my gorgeous group twos. Welcome to your reading. If you chose thumbnail image 2, group 2, however you got here, welcome. Today we're going to be getting into your personality versus your looks, okay? So how do people perceive your personality? And then how do they perceive your looks, okay? Are they going to be the same? Are they going to be different? Are there, discrepancies? This is what I just heard in the two. We're going to find out. So let's get right into it. We're going to start off with your looks, because that's what we did in group 1. We have the lovers. Not the lovers. I'm hearing you have stars in your eyes. You could have like a lovey-dovey, stars in your eyes, very soft, maybe feminine look to you, even if you are a more masculine presenting person. Please, Spirit, for my group, choose what do their looks give. Please, Spirit, their looks. Okay, we have 4 cards. We're going to leave it at that. Since we're here with the cards, now can we get some about personality? Well, I'm still using these cards. My group 2's personality. Please, Spirit, personality. What is their personality giving? To not get them mixed up. What is their personality giving? Please, my group 2. Keep that down. My group 2's. What is their personality giving? Okay. We'll take the 2 that fell over. Okay. We're good on that. Now let's get it. Let's go. We have, are all these in reverse? Okay. Interesting. These are supposed to be looks, right? So this one needs them to be up in reverse. So we have, as we put them down, we have the Page of Swords. Okay. So very studious. I'm hearing nose turned up is what I'm hearing. So maybe you kind of get like a maybe high and mighty, hoity-toity kind of energy, Is it called stuck up? I'm not 100% sure. We have the Hermit. So yeah, it's giving I like to stay away from everyone else. Leave me alone. Nose stuck up in the air is what I'm hearing. Also, nose stuck in a book. Some of you could have been called to group 1. Here we have the Tower. So very like fierce, intimidating in your looks. Okay. And then we have the Chariot for your look. So very masculine, right? There's something here about like fierce. Because I'm just seeing someone riding a carriage very quickly, Someone riding on the back of a horse very quickly. So maybe like rugged, outside. I'm hearing hairy chest hair, hairy legs and arms. I'm hearing brute. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. I'm hearing, what's his name? Anthony Bridgerton. So maybe some of you could have like sideburns. Yo, because I can't. Anthony Bridgerton in like season 1 and season 1, because his was season 2. They had him looking a mess. Okay, a mess. I swear there's like an effect that they call it with, what's the lady's name? I forget her name. The one who creates the series, right? Chandra, whatever the lady's name is. How she makes all the men who are gonna have seasons in the future look doofy and goofy in the season that's not theirs, okay? To not take away the Shonda Rhimes is her name, sorry. It just came through. She has them looking a little dirty, curdy, you know what I mean? To not have them overtake the person who was the main character in that season. So Anthony Bridgerton in season 1 was looking a little crazy. He had the what do they call them? The something chops, the mutton chops. They had him looking crazy in season 1, shots. Group 1 is coming through again. Get out, group 1. If this doesn't resonate for you, then group 1 is your group. It's just what I felt called to say. So just go there now, okay? But it's kind of like giving broad shoulders, a little intimidating. It's giving kind of like lieutenant, sergeant is what your looks are kind of giving. Like I said, the shoulders are very prominent. Maybe you have like a mean mug is what I'm hearing as well. There's something here about that. Either hoity-toity, you have your nose up to people, or you just give off a very mean mug, leave me alone. Like, I'm not even giving resting bee face. That could be for some of you if you're a feminine watching, but I'm getting like very heavy masculine energy. So some of you could look very mean and tough and gruff, right? But we have Page of Swords. So someone, you could wear glasses is what I'm hearing. You look like someone who knows their stuff is what I'm getting. You're getting a little bit professorial as well. So it's definitely giving a little bit of a professor, right? Maybe serious, studious, a little bit of like a nerd, but not so much. You know what I mean? I'm hearing the cute nerd, just a little bit of nerd sprinkling in there. You know what I mean? But most like very manly, you know? So people are looking at you and like, oh, okay. I'm not going to mess with that person. What is it saying? I don't want to encounter them or cross paths with them in a dark alley. You know what I mean? Because this Tower card is definitely giving like, I will, I'll cut a bee. I'll cut somebody. Don't mess with me. I'm hearing some of you could have like scars on your face. Like, maybe like scar. You have like a scar going through an eye or something. But it's definitely giving you have scars. You have like bumps and bruises. Like you have hair. You're giving manly man. Okay, for my manly men. Now, for those of you who are coming through as feminines, you're giving hoity-toity, holier than thou, leave me alone, don't talk to me, I'm better than you, in your looks, okay? Now, specific looks we have coming through here is someone who's giving, like, I'm hearing old money. So some of you look very skinny, right? I'm hearing the, what do you call it? The tweed, like the suits that the old money people wear. I think they're like Chanel suits. Maybe you wear the Chanel signature perfume or something. So you're kind of like giving high society. That would make a lot of sense because Anthony Bridgerton was also high society. So yeah, you're definitely giving a little bit of high society in your looks, okay? So you're wearing the designer clothes or you're putting everything together in a way that makes you look like you have a lot of money, okay? Designer is what I'm hearing. Bags, clothes, shoes, stuff like that. I'm hearing some of you are giving like Paris Hilton core, right? Or London Tipton, her little knockoff in the Sweet Life of 𝐓𝐿 and she kind of came through in group 1 as well. So maybe you're watching all, well, 2 so far. But yeah, definitely like, eccentric. People can tell you come from money or you're big on style or fashion at least, okay? But Tower is definitely unexpected, caught off guard, wasn't expecting that from someone. So your looks definitely give like striking beauty, in a way that kind of seems like sharp and pointy and stabby, if that makes sense. And it could be the way you look at people, your energy, just like, oh, stay away from me, I'm also hearing like Sharpay. That's a perfect way to describe the energy you give off. And we haven't even gotten to personality yet. Your looks are like giving Sharpay. So some people could be like Lee Blonde. Because Sharpay is blonde, so is Paris Hilton. We also are getting London Tipton. So some of you could be of Asian descent. And those people who are of Asian descent do kind of come off as like hoity-toity and high and mighty sometimes as someone who's like, you always see them outside. And they're just like clutching their pearls. They look at you like you're a nuisance or a bother. They're just like someone who's always like, what are you doing here? Grabbing their bag like you're gonna rob them or something. You know what I mean? There's some of them like that. Like elitist is the kind of vibe that I'm getting from you guys, high society kind of thing, You stick to your bubble, you stick to where you come from, and you could just have that. You know how some people like could try to blend into regular society, but you could tell they come from like money or some kind of social standing, or they were raised in that kind of way, okay? And then we have the Chariot, which is giving, like I said, someone riding in a carriage or riding on a horse. You know what I mean? Maybe you give really good posture because people who ride on a horse have to kind of like have good posture as well, okay? So your back is always straight, or you could also be giving really athletic for those of you who are not resonating with anything else, Like I said, it's giving outdoorsman, rugged outdoorsman could be the look you give. You don't have to be an actual outdoorsman. You give the vibe of someone who people don't want to cross, And that could, what is it called? Also resonate for someone who comes from money or high society, because you don't want to cross the person who could get you in trouble or has like power or sway or pull or looks like they do, right? So your looks kind of say like stay away in a way, but also come hither, if that makes sense. Because you're attractive is what I'm getting with this energy. Like you have like a very striking appearance, but it's intimidating as well. Okay, now let us get some cards from this deck. What are their looks giving, please, my group twos? And the Tower is like Pluto energy, so it's like giving underworld, dark, you know, Hades kind of energy. So you could wear a lot of dark colors, or you're always like, I'm hearing stormy expression. So you always look upset or angry. That could be something. I'm also hearing like an angry Japanese man. We just like, you know, that can be how you sound. You have like a very, what's the word that I can use? Like, I don't want to keep saying intimidating. You have like a very forceful voice. I don't know. Deep. I'm not really getting deep though. It's like hostile is the word. Yes. You have a very hostile tone is the vibe I'm getting, okay? We have Dove and we have Peace and Serenity. This is very interesting for you guys. Some of you are giving that. Like I said, if you're a feminine coming through, you are very giving high society, cute, sharp, well put together, well dressed, rich vibes. Okay? Don't talk to me, I'm above you. You know, but the guys are coming through is like, they look like they'll get beat up. The girls are just like, leave me alone. Magic curse. I'm hearing, this could be a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare. Either way, I don't want to wake up from you. Sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare is the vibe you're coming through for with your looks. This is very interesting. I wasn't expecting something like this to come through, but it's definitely giving like RBF, but you're very beautiful, but your looks are like, stay away. So men or people, whatever, are going to be like, you're either going to be a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare if I were to come up and talk to you. Because people who look mean don't always know they're giving off that energy. Some of them do. Maybe you do. But people are still like, oh, she's so beautiful. I still want to say you look really beautiful today or something. But I'm afraid they're going to chop my head off, right? I'm also hearing like sandy cheeks. So you could have like her kind of like look or personality where she looked very fluffy and cute. But if you were to tell her anything, she would karate chop you back in Texas. You know what I mean? So we have magic curse. People are not sure whether to approach you or run far away from you. So maybe some of you are also giving like witch, you know? They were lying when they called me a witch. Is what I'm hearing as well. Some of you could be thick A, like Ursula, which would definitely make sense because that kind of came through in group one. Not Ursula, but the thick. So if you're watching through, it's coming through again. But yes, she's all boobs and bust and waist and thighs and butt. You know what I mean? Thick all around. Or plus size, whatever you want to call it. All means the same thing at this point. Now we have the moon, which is giving kind of scary. The moon in the background there is kind of like, I'm a little intimidated. Maybe some of you look like witchy. I don't really know how to describe that. Maybe some of you have like, I'm hearing piercing eyes. Some of you have like, what makes witches scary? The boils. Maybe some of you could have like boils. And it's funny how I was mentioning a scar. So some of you could have something on your face that makes you look intimidating. Or make people scared of you. Because look how she's hiding her face, but her legs are coming through, so you have nice legs. Okay. Period. And it's also it is called kind of giving. Like, her legs are accentuated in this card as well. Okay. But the face is covered in that card, so there could be something here about you hiding your face. Or you could just, your physical appearance looks like the people who wear stuff like this, where mostly their whole body is covered. Here we have cat, jealousy, gossip. Your looks are giving black cat. And that's what I was saying. Like, black cats are so cute, but you've heard so much stuff about them that says they're vicious and mean and they have such a bad reputation, you know? So maybe your looks, your looks have a bad reputation, if that makes any sense. It may not be you in particular, it could be when we get into the personality side, but your looks have a reputation and people talk about them being like who are some people I can describe as like being intimidatingly handsome, where it's like, they look mean, but like if they start smiling, they look really nice. So maybe that's your look as well. When you're not smiling, you look very mean, But then when you do smile, you look more like approachable and nice, or you are approachable and nice. Who freaking knows? I'm hearing Chris Hemsworth. He like has like he couldn't have a very intimidating, mean look to him. What are some other people that look mean? I can't think of many. I'm hearing Jason Statham. How very specific. He's the guy who plays, he's the bald guy who plays, that not to be mistaken for Vin Diesel, okay? Who plays a lot of the action movies. I'm also hearing The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, how when he's not smiling, he look very intimidating, especially with his body mass and his height. But then as soon as he smiles and starts talking, he's a very friendly person, right? So your looks are giving stay away, leave me alone, okay? And the eyes, the piercing eyes that I was talking about. Look at how this cat is staring into my soul. Don't do that, man. Okay? So your eyes are, I'm hearing spectacular. So your eyes are prominent. This light be killing me, bro. Give me a headache. Okay. I keep touching my face a lot in this reading, so your face can be the star of the show. Is kind of what I'm getting. Like the rest of your body is cool and everything, but what people like or appreciate the most on your body is the face. Because I'm sitting here rubbing my eyes, which is another indicator of the eyes. I'm like rubbing the rest of my face. Maybe some of you like giving your skin looks really soft and clear. And like, moisturized, because I keep touching my face and she's been really smooth lately. Because I'm using a new toner for whatever reason, and I've been putting on like sunscreen to be responsible, you know what I mean? And it's just been making my face so soft, a little routine that I've been doing in the morning, and I'm like, oh, she's so soft. Maybe your eyelashes, I was plucking mine as well, just playing with them as well. So your looks is definitely giving that. Those like your prominent features, your eyes, your eyelashes, your face, and then your skin can be like really soft for my females. Because for men, I am getting very ruggedly handsome. You look like you'll rip off your shirt and it's like pack, hair. I'm hearing Henry Cavill for y'all. And he is also someone who's intimidatingly handsome. So nobody's saying you're intimidatingly is unhandsome or, unattractive. It's just giving whatever looks you're given is intimidating, Ooh, boy. Sorry. I don't know why it's been coughing. Like, nothing else is happening. No mucus, no nothing. I just have like a dry cough. What does that mean? I don't even want to look it up on Google before they tell me I'm dying. No. Okay? Like a very intense underworld Plutonian vibe to your looks is what's coming through for you guys. Okay? Maybe you've gone through a lot of transformations as well. Because I'm looking at the Tower card, trying to anyway, without this light flaring in my eye. And it's like a bunch of squirrels and a bunch of butterflies who are kind of like half disappeared and half not. Now I'm hearing Thanos because the way the butterflies are kind of disappearing is reminding me of when everyone kind of like turned to dust in that one Avenger movie. So maybe some people look Thanos, you have like, yeah, you're bald, you're big, brolic, right? And your face is always mean mugging. Yeah, for my man, for real. For my women, you are giving mean mug as well, right? So maybe you roll your eyes, like I said, nose up, leave me alone, I'm better than you, too good for you kind of energy. I'm also hearing a little bit of Rihanna because she does be having that face on sometimes as well. Until she starts talking and she's like very nice and friendly when you talk to her. But when you see her walking down the street, it's kind of like, pose, cover girl, work it girl kind of thing, which is like giving model-esque, statue-esque, so tall, leave me alone kind of energy, RBF, right? Okay. Do your thing. And I was going to say you guys can be models because I was seeing the Page of Swords and the way she's posed, first of all, but the way her legs look elongated, it's kind of giving runway, And I'm here fresh off the runway, where I believe Rihanna performed or walked in one of the Victoria's Secret shows, or she performed. And then she was like walking down the runway, and all the models in the back were going crazy because she was doing it with so much like, she was doing it with so much riz and charisma, and her stare. Like, and Rihanna, her stare will get you every time, right? Whether it's to charm you or to disarm you, it doesn't really matter. Her stare will get you, okay? Staring into your soul type stuff, you know? I'm here type shit. Shut up. None of that, okay? But yeah, she was walking, and the way she was walking was like so like mesmerizing, and like even Justin Bieber was like backstage watching her on the TV, and he was mesmerized, and all the models were like, wow, you know? So it's someone who could be a model but may not be a model. They could be, you know, doing other stuff, right? Anyway, now that's enough for, okay, I did want to get some dice as well. We have Aquarian. Okay, so it is definitely giving me like, you know, tall. I'm hearing legs. It's a thing coming through. Legs. Whether it's the thick thighs or the legs, whatever's coming through is coming through. Aquarian is also very alternative, very different looking, you know. I'm hearing gamine, so maybe there's something here about you being very skinny and it playing a part on your face where it's like very sharp features, feline features. You know what I mean? That's what's coming through for you guys, okay? And I hope I differentiate enough for my men to be satisfied and my women to be satisfied, okay? Now, we have 4th house Jupiter. And that's that Sagittarian energy that was coming through for some of you, for the small bit of you who chose this pile, okay? And you guys were getting Ursula. She was also very scary and intimidating, exactly, yeah. So even if you are bigger, you have more weight on you, or you're someone who's smaller or whatever, you're giving very elitist, stay away from me, nose in the air, don't look at me, don't talk to me kind of energy, right? And people are like, do I tell her how pretty she is, or is she going to cut me, you know? Do I want to get stabbed today? I mean, it might be worth it to get stabbed by a beauty like that. But is it worth it? Then we're talking about the women to men. He's so ruggedly handsome. He's so, like, should I talk to him or is he going to cuss me out for even trying, you know? That's the kind of vibe coming through where you're attractive but intimidatingly so, okay? But with the Jupiter coming through, it is definitely playing into the whole, you have a lot of something. Long legs, okay? A big bust, a big booty. You could have hips. You have a long torso. You have long hair. You have big feet. You know, something like that is coming through. I'm hearing a large nose, a very defined jaw. Jupiter also like always gives me like a very masculine energy. So if you are a female, you could have like very strong, prominent features that give like more masculine, but of course you're a girl, so you make it work for you. I'm hearing maybe thick eyebrows. I'm hearing Cara Delevingne. Like sometimes you could look at her and kind of say, oh, she could give man if she wanted sometimes, and not like a mean way, but it's like her features are so prominent, her eyes are so striking, her eyebrows are so thick compared to the rest of her face, and her jawline and her stare kind of gives like, wow, you know what I mean? I'm also hearing Ruby Rose. Y'all remember when she was big and popular back in the day? We all loved some Ruby Rose. I still love her. She's very attractive, but I don't know where she's at now, you know? She kind of like, she sparked my maybe bi awakening. I'm like, you know what? Ruby Rose can get it. I'm not even gonna lie. But it's because she was more masculine that she can get it. Like, if I'm not attracted to feminine girls. If you're giving, you know, masculine girl, I'm like, you know what, maybe, right? But if you're giving a feminine, I'm like, nah, I'm not attracted to girls, you know? But if you're giving me guy and my and my brain is confused enough, maybe we can make it work. But you don't have the equipment I would need in the, you know, southern region. You wouldn't have that. But if you're giving me manly, that's what I'm attracted to naturally. So I'm like, oh, you know what, maybe, right? So you could confuse people. That's funny. Maybe even men, if you're a man, can find you very attractive, or objectively, I meant to say attractive, you know, or I feel called to say. So you're very objectively attractive, and the way men can all agree that Henry Cavill is like just gorgeous for both men and women. That's the kind of energy coming through for you guys with your looks, okay? Where you're that 1% of people in the world who both men and women can find attractive, because you have very maybe feminine features that make you attractive, but you also have very masculine features that also make you attractive. So people are like, universal handsome or pretty? Yeah. Okay. And then we have fourth house Cancer coming through. A lot of the same energies as group one. So like I said, if you felt called group one, this isn't resonating, then that would be your group, I feel like. But fourth house is Cancer, and Cancer rules the boo-boos, right? And I didn't say that for group one, but it came through. We're not even worry about it. The boobulars is coming through for you guys, right? They're just there and pop in your face, okay? That could be the only thing, or certain things could be the only thing that alerts men or women to the fact that you may be an opposite sex. Like, that's a man, right? And then they see the bajunkas, and they're like, hey, that's a woman? And you know what's funny? You're giving androgyny, right? That's the word for what I'm describing. And I got to the realization thinking of Mulan, and how in a lot of the K-drama shows that I watch, I haven't watched one in a minute. I need to get back on it, right? Practice my Korean some more. A lot of the females can go play males, and that's something they did, like, in some, like, I watched the historical ones, right? And in, like, I think it's called The King's Affection. The King's Affection on Netflix. If you love K-dramas, watch that slow burn show. It's so obnoxiously good, okay? But anyway, the female character who plays the king in the show is, you just see her and she passes as a man in men garb. And I'm like, huh? Like, how? Like, we know she's a girl because we're watching the show and we know all the tea behind the scenes. But I can see how everyone else can think she's just a pure man. But she's also very beautiful. So it's giving how, Sway? Even in Mulan, when she went to war, she was giving man, and everyone was fooled. Until we saw her hair down and we saw the tape wrapped on her boobs giving female. I'm like, ow! Not you being a girl this whole time, and you the baddie as a girl. So it's giving, oh, I'm confused. At this point, right? That's what I'm getting for y'all. Truly. Okay, well, fourth house is definitely giving boobs for my females, and you have like a very well-defined barrel, chest, and shoulders for my men. That's what I'm getting for you guys for looks. This is like a very long, drawn-out look. So your looks could be the most prominent thing about you, because group one, we wasn't spending this much time on looks. We had already moved on to personality, and we're already about to be 30 minutes in. So personality, we have the Ace of Wands, okay? So you definitely spark some thoughts and passion and interest from your personality, okay? You spark interest, I want to say from your looks. That could definitely, like I said, be the most important thing or the most prominent thing. But we have the Three of Wands. I do believe you're like a very friendly, open person, I would say. Like, you're open to getting to know different people. Your personality is giving what your looks aren't. Like, come talk to me. Like, yeah, we'll have so much fun. And your looks like giving, who the bumper Ross is you? Get away from me, get out my face, that kind of thing. So your looks are definitely giving like fierce, right? And then your personality is giving friendly, very passionate, very open, expressive is what I'm hearing. We have Seven of Swords. Interesting. Maybe a little secretive, maybe a little sneaky, eh? And then we have the Eight of Swords. Maybe there's something here about you not realizing how attractive you are because you keep yourself in this box. I don't know. I'm hearing maybe you have like an ugly duckling phase where everyone would make fun of you for your looks, and then when you kind of blossomed into the I want to say fairy, okay? When you guys blossomed into a fairy, or you blossomed into a butterfly, or you became the swan, it was kind of hard for you to make that jump or that switch in your mind or personality to say, hey, I'm this kind of person now. Because personality and Eight of Swords is giving victim mentality, very closed in on yourself. You don't talk a lot, which is funny because we have the adventurous energy of the Three of Wands. You know what? These didn't want to come out in reverse. We're not even going to lie here. Okay, maybe. But the Eight of Swords came out upright. The Three of Wands and the Seven of Swords wanted to come out in reverse. That's how I saw them. So that could be something here about you being maybe like a little bit of an open book. But the Three of Wands is you being a little more reserved, right? Because the Three of Wands upright is kind of giving go with the flow. I mean, yeah, go with the flow, adventurous, you know. You're out here surfing and doing this and doing that. Maybe for those of you who are athletic from the personality looks like, excuse me, you look like you can like bench 500 pounds or whatever. Your personality is kind of giving wild child as well. okay? Or surfer at the very least, because we have the surfer coming through in the Three of Wands. Very athletic personality. But how would that come through in person? Like, that's crazy. You have a very athletic personality. How? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm hearing, what do you call it? How can you say it? An athletic personality is someone who's like able to do a bunch of different things with their body. So you could be someone who does a lot of different things with your personality, right? Maybe 1 minute you're this, 1 minute you're that kind of thing. Maybe you give people like, what is it called? Something burn. Because they're like, what? Were you just laughing? Why are you like, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Very interesting. But Eight of Swords, there is something here about that for it to come through. There's something here about you going through an ugly duckling phase where you are a little more in your shell, thinking everyone is like judging you. You don't really want to talk or chat to a lot of people, is what I'm getting, which is why the Seven of Swords would come through as like people don't really know what to expect for your personality, because everything is mostly about your looks. Maybe there's something here about you feeling ostracized, so you don't really express yourself that much, because it doesn't matter what you do. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's kind of the energy coming through for you guys. Let me get some cards from this deck here. Can we get a card for my group two's looks? I mean, their personality. Look at that. Focusing on looks again. Apologize. Their personality, please, Spirit. Their personality. Open-minded is what I just heard as well. We have mountain, challenges and achievements. Yeah, there's something here about you having to learn how to express yourself more. So they do see you as very expressive, but I do think sometimes you revert back to that in your shell person of, you know, of not knowing how to let loose and be yourself. So people see you as, oh, this is not who they really are, right? And in a way they're right, but you're not doing it to be fake or rude. You're doing it because you're still maybe learning how to express yourself, right? Maybe you're still learning to unlock different parts of your personality. People be so judgy. Mind your business. How about that? Anyway, you have loyalty and determination with the doggy. So some of you are giving a dog, okay? It's funny because you got cat for your looks and your personality giving dog, right? So golden retriever, really nice, friendly, or you're trying to be a little bit more open and friendly, you know? And the way she's kind of like a little levitating off this mountain is you have overcome a lot in order to be this more friendly person. You've overcome a lot of, I'm hearing adversity or just thoughts or doubts, blockages, limiting beliefs, because the Eight of Swords represents all of those things. And it's like, okay, we need to free ourselves. We have to unbind ourselves from these chains that are telling us we can't do this, we can't do that. So maybe you're seen as someone who's like, you know, maybe a wild person. You're really out there because you have to make up for all the years you were in your shell, right? You have to kind of like you have to fully lean into this whole beautiful swan, everyone loves me kind of energy. And that's what you're learning to do in your personality. People are feeling you, that you opening up a little bit more, okay? We have the key. Wow. We have lock and unlock. Freaking exactly. Yeah. Okay. Period. You found the key to unlock your personality. And when you do unlock your personality, the main thing coming through is like a loyalty, determination, playfulness, eagerness, right? You're eager to talk, connect, have fun with people, make friends maybe. And that's kind of how your personality is coming through. And here we have the moose. And this came through for group 1 as well. So yeah, there could be some people from group 1, or you may feel called to group 1, okay? We have acceptance and eccentric. You have to accept who you are, who you wanted to be in order to become the eccentric person that you really are on the inside, okay? So there are still times where your personality comes across as in your head, thinking too much about something. And this is reminding me of, so too much in your head. It's reminding me of a conversation I had with someone. So I was like, not interviewing, but having a conference call with the dance company that I work for. I was not auditioning, but I wanted to work at a different branch. So I was working at the Brooklyn location. Now I'm working at the NYC location. And I'm like, I'm interested in, hosting more classes with you guys. And she was like, okay, The whole thing about the hosting position is selling yourself or selling the, gosh, selling the product. So selling memberships, right? And she's like, so how are you about selling memberships? How do you feel about it? I'm like, I feel like I'm getting more confident. I've been selling a little bit more memberships lately, so I'm more, yeah, I could do this kind of energy, which is tying into your personality. The more you practice, the more you feel like you can be who you really are. But anyway, she's like, okay, let's do a little bit of role play. So we were doing the role play and we were doing the whole spiel and da. And she's like, you did really good, but I can see you thinking too much. I can see you like pausing and figuring out what to say next. And I'm pretty sure the client would be able to feel the same thing. And we don't want them to feel like it's a script. We want them to feel like it's natural. And I'm like, okay, sis, clocked. But I just want to, you put me on the spot. And I'm like, yeah, I'm confident, but I don't like people, not even perceiving me, but I don't like to have something to put on for somebody. Like, oh, I have to act like you're a client. And I'm like, if you're not a client, why are we doing this? Like, it makes no sense to me. I don't like to do role play. We're either doing this for real or we're not doing it at all kind of energy. She's like, oh, pretend that I'm a client, but you're not. And you already know everything that I have to say. So if you were a client, I could be able to do and, spitball, because they don't know what I'm supposed to say. They don't know the script, but you know the script, and you're acting as if you were a client, but you're not. Like, what are we doing here? It's the vibe that I be on sometimes. I'm like, why are we doing all this for? Like, it's not going to be authentic because you're not a client. You know what I'm supposed to say already. So now I'm nervous if I forget something. If I were talking to a client, they don't know what I'm supposed to say. So I could say something or miss something and everything's going to be cool beans, right? But anyway, there's something about that. Like, I could see you thinking too hard about things. Like, what to say next, who to talk to, what do they think of me kind of energy, So maybe you may come off like a little bit too eager to make friends, or it doesn't have to be true to you. But that's kind of like how you're coming off personality-wise. Someone's very eager. A puppy, exactly, to make friends and to be included in things, right? Especially if you are someone who has experienced ugly duckling to swan phase, because now you see people like you, who you are, and you want to put on a front, which is the Seven of Swords exactly, for them to like you. And it may not be who you really are because you're like thinking of things to say, like, and not being natural about it. So not fake, but people can see that you're not who you say you are. Very interesting. But yeah, because maybe you're hiding the more eccentric part of you and trying to be what you consider acceptable or what you think everyone else considers acceptable. And they're like, just be yourself. You're like, I don't know who I am. Like, I don't know who that is, It's fine, group 2. You'll get there. You just gotta practice being more who you are. Stop hiding yourself, okay? I feel, in my case, because I can be someone who's a little bit socially awkward, and I can get this of, what do I say next, and how do I appeal to them? I feel the best way to be yourself is to talk about things you like. And that's the easiest way for you to be in your comfort zone and feel comfortable talking to people. Like, have conversations about what you like and then ask them about what they like, because they'll go on and on and on about what they like. You know what I mean? That's how I get through certain social interactions. Like, I don't know what to say next. Ask them a question. Or start talking about something you like. That's the kind of vibe coming through. You overthink is the Eight of Swords energy. And it gets you tongue-tied or lost in your head, or it makes you retreat into your shell when you don't think you're getting the reaction that you want. Even though it's like, it's not it's like an illusion in a way. Where how you think people are perceiving you is not really how they're viewing you, but you get a little bit too in your head about certain stuff, That's your personality coming through a little bit, okay? But you are someone who's very eccentric. You're very loyal, very determined. That's how people view you as well. Because with the Three of Wands coming out and the Ace of Wands coming out, it's definitely an energy about you're someone who's full of passion. So I do believe when you talk about what you love and like, that's when you're most yourself. So just, lean into that a little bit more. Practice makes perfect, right? Or as perfect as can be, This is a tarot deck. Look at the bottom. And then we have Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, maybe someone who is very dedicated. And isn't that what the dog says? Dedication? No, determination. I mean, I think they're synonyms. They're synonyms, right? Personality. I feel like you know how to bring people out of their shells very well. You're very good at having conversations and talking to people, but it's when you start getting in your head that things maybe get a little weird for other people and maybe even for you, right? So let's get some dice and see what comes through. We have the Sun, so your personality is very magnetic, and that would make a lot of sense with the Ace of Wands. Very magnetic. Very fiery, very passionate. I'm hearing you're good at telling jokes. Your laugh is very prominent as well. So you can make people laugh. That's what I'm hearing in my head. Or your laugh is something that's a part of your personality, okay? Then we have the Seven of Swords in reverse. People love that you're authentic, is what I'm hearing as well. You're a very authentic person. Here we have 6th house, and this is like earth sign energy coming through once again. 6th house is Virgo, okay? The Sun is Leo, right? The Leo is also like a very warm, welcoming, heart-based energy. So it's like your personality feels very welcoming, okay? And it could be because you know what it's like to not feel welcome, so you try to make everyone feel happy and welcomed as well, okay? But then it can lead to you overthinking sometimes and saying, I wonder if they like me, and da-da-da-da. Don't ever try to change yourself to seek validation. I'm telling y'all, it's not going to work. It's not going to feel good at the end. You can only be yourself, and that's who you are. You can't be anyone else but you. You know, lean into that, guys. And then we have 6th house, Virgo. So very particular about certain things. You can be very cleanly, very clean. You have like clean clothes, clean nails, stuff like that. You can always smell of detergent. I'm getting that coming through for you guys. That's the kind of vibe you guys are giving off personality wise. It's very, I'm hearing clean cut, cookie cutter, you know. So maybe like a little, you don't really make dirty jokes or something. Interesting. Your job could be a big part of your personality. You talk about that a lot. And then here we have Virgo. Not Virgo, what am I saying? That was 6th house. So we have Virgo coming through again. Okay, Virgo, bye. What about Virgos? You're very practical. Okay, you're very analytical. You're very observant, right? You're very helpful. That's the 7 of Pentacles could be coming through as well. You're very helpful. You'd like to, I'm hearing you're going to be the person on the bus giving up your seat to the elderly person. You're going to be holding the door open for everyone else. Very polite, right? Because you have manners. You have, like I said, an upbringing where certain things or values were instilled in you, and that could come through in personality, or most likely it always comes through in personality, not just looks, right? But Taurus, very comfortable, very cozy. Your personality is very sensual is what I'm getting as well, which is why with the Sun and Taurus, there's something very like engaging and like a little hypnotizing about your personality, or the way you make people feel when you're talking to them. Like you are like locked in and you want to know everything about them. And at that moment, they're the center of your universe, and there's something intoxicating about being at the center of your universe, especially because you're very attractive, and then you're talking to them and giving them time of day and asking them genuine questions about themselves. Like, whoa, did I step into some alternate universe here? Why does she actually care? Or why does he actually care about what I'm saying? And because you're not your looks, is what I'm getting. Even if you were blessed in the looks department, you're not your looks. Okay. What else can we say about Taurians? Okay, what else can we say about them? They're ruled by Venus, so attractive coming through once again. Yeah, you're very warm. That keeps coming through. You're very warm. Cozy. Your personality is coming through as cozy. So yeah, people feel like they open up to you and get very comfortable very quickly, right? They may tell you a little bit too much. But it's because I feel like I said, you already incorporate the practice that I said, where you just ask them questions about themselves, and they're like, does she really care? And by the time they end the conversation, they realize they haven't learned much about you, because you've been asking them straight questions about themselves. Okay, but I'll end your reading right there. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. If you would ever like to book a personal reading with me, you could always get in contact with me using my email in the description box below. But I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye. Hello, my gorgeous group 3s. Welcome to your reading. If you chose thumbnail image 3, option 3, number 3, however you got here, welcome. Today we're going to be getting into what does your personality give versus your looks, okay? So we're going to get straight into it and get into the vibes of your personality first. I've been switching it up. We have, oh, this is so cute. We have Two of Cups for personality. And then we have Two of Pentacles. So I'm hearing for your personality, you make people feel safe, okay? Your whole personality could be a relationship you're in. Because, you know, people say, this is your whole personality. Your relationship could be your whole personality. Balancing that relationship could be your whole personality. Maybe you're the kind of person who's proud of your partner, so you're always talking about them in conversation, so people know I'm booed up. You know, that can be something you talk about a lot, which is, you know, very cute, I think. Other people may not think so, but I think it's cute. Okay, let's get some more cards for my group 3's personality. What is your personality giving? Please, Spirit, your personality. There's something here about having good time management. So maybe you're like a very busy person and you know how to, you know, manage your time very well. These are enough. And I love how I was going to say it. And I just saw the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck, but I didn't want to say it. But it came out anyway. So I guess maybe next time I'll just say it. Eight of Wands, Ace of Swords, and then we have Nine of Pentacles for personality. Okay. So you're kind of like an experience is what I'm hearing. Your personality is an experience. I'm hearing a sight to behold. Okay. There's something very, I'm hearing nourishing about being in your presence and being around you. Okay. So maybe there's something here about love at first sight with your personality, or people fall in love with you by getting to know you, or, you know, the more they get to know you, the more they fall in love with you, kind of thing. With the Two of Pentacles, there's something here about you being able to balance things really well. I'm getting a specific, let me just sit with this for a second. Give me a second. I'm hearing there's two like distinct parts. I want to say portions. Two distinct portions of your personality, like the intellectual and then like the relationship guru, I want to help you, Yama fix my life kind of thing. So when people meet you, they love how you can kind of like balance both out in the perfect way. Or maybe you're good at telling people they need to fix this and that and this and that and the other without, and with love, right? So constructive criticism with love. It's the vibe that I'm getting for you guys. Maybe you're very zen, very chilled. I just got like very mellow, right? Like I don't want to talk too loud. I don't want to do too much. Maybe you're kind of giving, I'm hearing mother hen. So maybe you're kind of that person that people can come to with their problems and their worries and their relationship problems. And you'll give them the cold hard truth, right? But in a very nourishing way where they leave with or feeling not like discouraged or upset or attacked. You know what I mean? So you just have that kind of personality where you know how to say things in a certain way to not make people feel some kind of way about it, okay? The Ace of Swords is an energy of being able to solve very intricate or difficult problems, being able to take it apart and put it back together in a way where people can understand it, right? I'm also hearing some of you are very artistic, okay? That just came through. So maybe you could have found a way to bridge those two things together, the creative part of you and then the very intellectual part of you. You know, they blend together in a very beautiful way with the Two of Pentacles coming through here. There's something here about you being very much in your mind, but also very much in your body. Okay. So there's something here about you grounding certain concepts for them where they, like I said, they feel nurtured and happy and better for whatever you tell them. Hold on. I had to cough. Okay. Whew. Yeah, you make people feel safe. Your personality is like it's like a cocoon, a warm cocoon where the sun is always shining and there's rainbows and I'm hearing birds chirping and there's something here about your presence being like a little bit of a retreat from the rest of the world. And that's kind of like what I'm feeling, but I can't properly put it to words. It's like a little bit of a sanctuary where it's like you make them feel out of their mind, out of their head, in another dimension, another world, but they're on Earth, you know? So there's something about the experiences you bring people where it kind of feels like they were able to escape the harshness of the world for a little bit and like just be with you. But they were also still in the harshness of the world when they were with you. You know if that makes sense? I don't know how to properly describe the feeling, but I'm sure you get it. So yeah, you're giving a little bit like escapism, 12th house energy, okay? Where people come to you and they need some kind of clarity. But you also do it in like a very fun way where you don't make it seem like, oh, that's what it is. You teach people and help them learn things, but you don't make it feel like they're learning anything. It's kind of like fun, right? So a teacher who teaches their kids stuff in a way where they're like having a good time while learning it, okay? That's kind of what I'm getting. So if you're someone who's like maybe more spiritual and you could like teach people spiritual things or concepts, you do it in a way where they don't feel like they're learning or they're being judged or being talked down to, or you know, someone who is on this pedestal, high and mighty, hoity-toity, telling them certain things and making them feel bad about it, and like you're not in a preachy way is what I'm saying, is what I mean, I guess. This is okay. Gonna take a breath here, group 3, okay? And I feel like maybe you kind of like get caught up in certain things and kind of like go on tangents maybe because you have the 8 of Wands and people get caught up and sucked away with you. And then by the time they come back to shore or whatever, they're like, wait, what happened? Like, how did we get here? You know? So there's something here about having conversations where you start off one place and end up in a completely different place. And people are like, wait, how did we even get here? And it's like, who knows? Why does it matter? We had a conversation. It was great. And now we can go about our day. Like, we're thinking a little too hard about this, guys, right? That's kind of the energy that's coming through for you. So people definitely get swept away with you, okay? Now, we're going to get some cards from here as well. The 9 of Pentacles is definitely giving very much, like I'm hearing mentor vibes. So you're giving an older, more mature energy, personality-wise. So I'm hearing old soul, you've been here before, right? And that's probably why you're so good at handling humans, is what I just heard. So maybe you consider yourself like a starseed or some otherworldly creature. And you come to Earth and you're like, oh, these humanoids. Ha ha ha. I am screaming, get out. And you go back to your freaking 12th dimension family like, those humanoids are so funny. You don't want to know what I heard today, right? And those 12th dimension people could be like other spiritual people or others' friends when you just come back and say, I won't believe what that humanoid told me today. That's funny. That is hilarious. You guys can be funny. That's something I've never, you know, did all that before. But it came through. Like, why is this bro pissing me off? Like, you're sitting here injuring me. Don't do that. Sorry. Anyway, we have the Whale, Wisdom Keeper. It makes sense. You're giving somebody from another dimension or another world, personality-wise, where people are like, wait, did I actually meet someone that, or am I bugging, right? After meeting you, when they're with you, you put them in a trance, and then you kind of leave them. They're like, wait, did I just meet, are they real? They kind of have to go back and check the cameras or check their Instagram if you exchange that to make sure you were an actually real person. And I'm kind of remembering how, like, a few months ago, or it could have been longer, the way these months are moving, there was a TikTok video that I was watching about a guy who said he met, like, a vampire or somebody who was, like, descended from, like, a powerful family or something like that. So he was on one of those sites, I forget the name of the site, where you like meet people and talk to people, and he met this guy one time, right? And this guy invited him over to his house, and he like gave him specific directions that he printed out and followed to the man's house. He went into the guy's house, they were talking, everything was cool. He was kind of like telling him, my parents say I can't have anybody over, so, you know, be careful about certain things. And he went to use the bathroom, and on top of the place where the toilet was, there was this old book. And he opened the book, and the book had like a bunch of different like hieroglyphs and characters in it, and they were like really dark, and the more you kind of move throughout the book, the more they went from like scribblings and drawings to like actual pictures and whatever. And then he took it back out to the guy, and he was like, what is this? And the guy's like, oh, that's not my family book, essentially, my family history, like everything we know, we've been accumulating over the years, we have it in there. And he's like, oh, okay, interesting. They didn't really ask more about it. And then they were chilling, they went and played games, he ate, whatever, and then he left. And then he went and told his brother about the experience he had and how it was like really weird, and it kind of felt like he was there, but he really wasn't there, and he can't remember much about anything or where the guy lives after leaving his house. Then he tells his brother about that, and his brother's like, didn't you print out the directions? Like, yeah, I did. And then he went to go find them, could not find them. And then there's something here about he like attributed it to meeting someone who was like here since the dawn of time, and they continuously like move around and meet different humans and have experiences with humans, but they're not human. They're like godly or aliens in a way. And I'm like, what the bumper ass? Like, I would have to go scrolling back a long time to find that video, but it was so interesting to me. And I'm like, that's kind of what I'm getting, where he tried to find the guy again and text him the number. What came back, like he couldn't find him ever again, but he went there. He knows he had that experience with the dude. He knows he saw that book. And there's like a specific thing they were calling the people in the comments, and I'm like, oh, this is very interesting, you know? But I'm like, I'm pretty sure that guy, because he wasn't given human, because he forgot everything that happened, the address, the everything, but he remembers little bits and pieces. But it's almost like he came back to the human world and forgot everything important that could kind of incriminate those people. So did they give him something? Did they, do the whole, what do you call it, Mission Impossible, whatever, Men in Black, where they blink you and you only remember certain things. You remember meeting them but not remembering being with them. That's kind of the energy I'm getting for you guys in this reading. Is like, I don't know how it got here, but we're here. And that's the vibe of being around you. Like, I don't know how we got to this whole crazy thing about aliens and, otherworldly beings when we're just talking about your personality, right? It's crazy to me. But anyway, that's what's coming through for y'all. And he was like, and then in that same vein, in that same, like, day, I was scrolling and I was hearing about this lady who experienced like a vampire in New Orleans. She was an Uber driver and all this kind of, I'm like, oh Lord, y'all can't tell me these kind of stuff, man. It's gonna haunt me. But like things like that, where they meet you and like, wait, did I actually meet this person? Is it actually real? Like, they have to go and make sure or pinch themselves in some kind of way. Okay, boom. Now, we have opportunities in home, the gate. And look, and it's funny how he said he went to this guy's big fancy house and went past the gate. And when he went back to those same coordinates, that's also like a part of the story that was like crazy. He said he went back to the same place he was, and it was like a big empty plot of land. But he remembers driving there. He remembers it being that exact spot. And he remembers there being a house there. But he went back and there was no house. And now it's like, wait, what happened? Is this person even real? Oh, love the ghetto. But yeah, your personality definitely gives people like a lot to think about. It leaves also a lot to be it's not a lot to be desired. People want more. Is the vibe that I'm getting as well. You're a good time. They get caught up in your current your energy, and then they kind of like never want to leave. They get attached, which could be why the first card, Two of Cups, came out. Or by the end of it, they're in love with you, and they're like, wait, where are you going? Come back here and love me. You know what I mean? Like, where do you think you're going? Like, you're not going to make me fall in love with you in one night and leave me here. That's funny. Here we have the triangle, choices and indecision. Interesting. Yeah, this is the kind of energy where people don't know what to take you for. It's as simple as that. I feel like for that card. Here we have teeth, control and change. Maybe getting information about you is like pulling teeth. Maybe you have conversations, you talk about certain things, but it's maybe more so growth and self-help things for the person you're talking to. You're not really telling them much about you. And if somebody were to ask you something, straight head on, you're like kind of moving it around and bringing the conversation to something else, if that makes sense, like pulling teeth. You could also just have nice teeth. This is personality, guys. We're going to get to looks in a second. And here we have bear, strength, and resourceful. Okay? This is funny. The there's like this thing going around, or I don't know how long it's been going around, but something here about a man versus a bear. Who would you choose? And a lot of women are like, I'll take the bear because men are da 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 da. I don't know where the concept came from. I've never really looked into it, but that's and then there's also like something about 100 men versus a gorilla or something. Social media is always coming up with something, child. I'm telling you. But that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here, where it's like if I had to choose between a man and a bear, I'm gonna choose the bear, right? Because they're less dangerous than a human male. Okay? So there's something here once again about you not being human, if that makes sense. Your personality. They're like this is a simulation is what I'm hearing. It's not real. Like how that's the vibe that I'm getting, where you have like such a perfect night with someone, or such a perfect conversation, or an exchange, encounter, whatever you want to call it, that when you think about it every time afterwards, it's like, wait, was that even real? Like, did I fall in love? It was that love at first conversation, or personality, or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Anything else about personality? We said you're smart already. That came through. Very witty, intelligent. Like I said, banter could be a thing as well. Teasing, fun. You bring all those aspects into like your personality. You're fun, you're witty, your soul's very mature. You could be a little immature when you want, but I'm not getting that because we don't have any pages or nights. We just have pure vibes, is what I'm hearing. Pure vibes, okay? You can be a little bit of a control freak, and people think that you don't like change, you're not good with change. But I think that's a lie, because we have the Two of Pentacles, and that's somebody who's able to fully or beautifully balance two different things in their life. So you're a balanced person, individual. And twos usually represent that as well. You could talk a lot, or make people want to talk a lot and tell you everything, is what I'm getting as well. Let's get some dice before we move on to looks. I'm hearing all encompassing, because we have the bear here and we have the whale, and they're very big energies, and these are the only like physical animal kind of cards coming through. The rest is like a vibe of control and change. You're always in control of your surroundings and your personality, or your, you know, sorry, I had to cough. Okay. You're always in control of your actions, or maybe there's something here about you always being in control of the room or the mood in the room. You can easily change it. And there was a video that I did 2 days ago about what effect you have on others. And in one of the readings, there was something about you're able to change the vibes in the room. And I think it's like called a 𝐓𝐈𝐌𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 empath. And that could be something you are as well, right? Where you have like a little something extra. Yeah, you're human, you're coming off as human anyway, but there's something a little extra thrown in there for you. Okay? There's also something here about you getting people thinking about a lot of different things. That's that whole perspective and leaving them better than you found them energy coming through for you guys. But anyway, we have the Sagittarius energy coming through here. So we have like a philosopher, we have a student, we have someone who's chock full of wisdom, and I'm hearing jokes and experiences and stories to tell. So you could be a good storyteller. People get swept up in your stories, right? Sagittarian, this 9th house energy. So there's like a worldliness about you as well. Your personality is very, like I said, experience, right? With the 9 of Pentacles coming through. Here we have Uranus. So yeah, there's something very different about you that people can't quite explain or put into words. Unexpected. They weren't expecting it, right? And then when they do have it, it's kind of like, wait, was that even real? You know, did I encounter an alien? Right? Because Aquarius is Uranus energy, and it's like, did I encounter someone who is not of this world, you know? And then we have 5th house, which is that playfulness that's coming through, that creativity that's coming through. So maybe you guys are getting an artist, you're really good at your job, okay? Or maybe the work you create, it can be anything: content creating, videos, photography, pictures, painting. Maybe you make video games, literally, and people get lost in the video game, or you write books or something. There's something here about your creativity being used in a way to get people feeling lost, or to keep people entertained, or to make them have an experience they've never had before, right? If that makes any sense. Why did I read this as 5th house? I know it was 5th house. Did I change it over to 6th house? I'm not 100% sure. That's saying 5th house. Yeah, we're going to keep it. That's also very Leo energy, so your energy is very warm. It's also a little bit romantic. Since we do have the 2 of Cups coming through, the 5th house is the house of romance and dating, okay? So maybe people see you as someone who's, like, has good dating potential. You know, they fall in love in little ways with you. I'm hearing that song by Phineas. Let's fall in love for the night and forget in the morning. Play me a song that you like. You can bet I know every line. 'Cause I'm the boy that your boy told me you should avoid. Don't waste your lies on jealous skies. F that noise. I know better than to call you mine. Right? So there's something here about like this hard to grasp. Where you could be a little bit of a flirt too, guys. Group 3. Stop flirting out here in these streets. Stop it. You could be a little bit of a flirt, but people are like, oh my gosh, you're so indecisive, because we have choices and indecision coming through, like, do you want me or not? Are you just tugging me along? You know, people be bitter. maybe you are teasing, okay? I don't really know. But that, yeah, flirting, teasing, romance, dating kind of energy. Maybe you're a good catch, personality-wise. We're going to get into looks right now, okay? But y'all cuss me out. Now, looks for my group 3s. Please, Spirit, can we get into their looks? What are their looks giving? Please, Spirit, for my group 3s. You can bet I know every line. One more shuffle through. Don't delete. Okay, you guys got too many cards. Okay, these are all turned over. We have one that's facing me, and it's the King of Swords. So your looks can come off, very, like, maybe cold or unapproachable, is kind of what I'm getting from looks. You have that. We have the Hangman, yeah, a little unapproachable. Your looks are like, stay away from me. Which is why people can think you're a tease, because your looks are saying leave me alone, but your personality is like warmth and home and all that kind of stuff, and wise and, you know, open. We have the World. Wow. I'm hearing you would be attractive anywhere you go in the world. We have the 4 of Cups. That's that bored, disinterested energy with your face, is what I just heard. Not with your face. We have the 7 of Wands. Wow, you guys are protective. Interesting. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, for looks, we have the Queen of Cups. We love that. And then we have the 5 of Wands being the only doofadanka that wants to come out in reverse. Okay, this is a lot about looks. Lordy. Okay. Some of you could be very active. Some of you could be very muscular. Okay. Some of you could be very yoga, Pilates, whatever this would be. I don't know the exact name. Trapeze or something. Is it ribbons? There's some kind of exercise that includes something like that. Okay. That's coming through. So you work out. I work out. Girl, look at that body. There's something here about rainbows and colors. You like to wear a lot of colors when it comes to your looks. You look a little bit like Neptunian dreamy. Like I said, like you're not of this world. Okay? And there was it group 2 that I said it? Or was it your group in the beginning? We've been here for 24 minutes. I really don't remember. Something here about a fairy. Or if I didn't say that, then that's group 2. And you may feel called group 2. But something here about your looks is giving, stay away. Okay, don't talk to me, right? It's giving scary, intimidating, because we have the King of Swords, but then we also have the freaking raven behind him. Not even a crow, the raven, right? And ravens are big and black. Oh my gosh, I just sounded so wrong. Okay, big and black. So some of you could be like bigger black people. Yo. Oh, don't cancel me, Lord. Ravens are intimidating, right? Okay. So some of you can be just intimidating looking, or you're big and black. Okay. Like, I said what I said, y'all. Some of you can dress like an intellectual, a professor, a principal, a judge, a police officer, something that screams no nonsense. The King of Swords usually gives me like a professor, someone with a lot to teach, and they kind of like wear the tweed pants, they wear the tweed shirt, they wear the patches on the elbows, they wear very conservative clothing, that kind of thing. You know, something that kind of says like I'm off the market. That could be your, you know, your vibe. What would it call? Classy, you know, sophisticated is the vibe that I'm getting with the King of Swords. With the air suits, there's something here very much about your clothes making a statement for who you are. So however you are is how you dress, is what I'm hearing. So if you're someone who's more playful and artsy, you're wearing a lot of colors. If you're someone who's more of an intellectual, you're wearing like maybe the glasses, you're wearing the skirts, you're wearing the pants, you're wearing the, what do intellectuals wear? Truly. The bow tie is what I'm hearing, you know, stuff like that. When you think of a professor, a woman or man, what do you think of? The pencil skirts, the blouses, the flowery, the frills, stuff like that, you know? But they're all, because you're working in an institution where you teach people, you look, you know, well put together. Yeah. Professional is the word I was looking for, right? Because no school's going to hire someone who's not looking professional. So work attire could be something you wear a lot of. And that's what your look is giving. It's giving stern, no nonsense teacher that will whack you over the booty with the ruler if you put to go one toe out of line. Okay? So disciplinarian is coming through as well. Like, don't mess with me kind of energy. You know what I mean? Or I'll nag you to death. That's funny. But yeah, it's definitely giving like school, studious, intellectual, academia kind of energy. You know, the person you will find in the library, the person you will find at the dinner parties where everyone's coming together to talk about certain things. Is there's very much an attire that goes with that, you know, demographic we'll go with. Okay, now we have the Hanged Man. So very reserved, very buttoned up is what's coming through for you guys. Okay, that's what your looks are giving. Very buttoned up, proper, you follow the rules, you know. But there is something like I'm hearing out of the ordinary or out of the box. Sorry. The world. I'm hearing eye-catching about you. So with the world coming through here, it's kind of like the world is your oyster, and that's how you dress, that's how you look. Like you're gonna conquer the world and nothing can hold you back, and you're looking straight forward and, you know, doing what you have to do and walking and not really caring what people think of you. So like you're giving, I'm minding my business, walking down the street, looking well put together, not worried about what you think of me or what I think of me, because not what I think of me, get out. Not caring what you think of me because I know who I am, right? Let me stop. That's what I'm getting from the world. Like the world is my oyster, confident. Yes, that's the word. Thank you. Spirit, appreciate you. Like very confident, show of yourself vibes, what's coming through. Nobody can tell me nothing. I'm the master of my own universe. Like, you know, some of you can even wear like suits and stuff like that. Very office attire, formal wear is another word to come through. Professional, formal, stuff like that. Now we have the Seven of Wands. Others of you could look very comfy, cozy, Lord. Like these is like giving yoga outfit, athleisure. So maybe some of you are coming through as more professional types, but in your, you know, spare time. I'm hearing, can I get some spare change, please? So maybe you're giving rich, right? People always begging you for spare change, child. Or maybe sometimes you look like a bum. And people need to know if you have if you need spare change, okay? Take a resonates. But there's an energy of you like having like a force field around you, keeping everyone else out of your energy, out of your world. Like there's an aura. That's a perfect word to describe you guys. There's an aura about you that says, I'm an important person. Okay, I'm on a mission. I have things to do. Don't talk to me. I don't want to hear about it. Like, leave me alone. I have work. You know, that kind of thing. That's what's coming for you guys. Don't bother me with your BS. Don't do it. Don't even think about it, right? Okay, and that's also playing into this bored, disinterested vibes. Where nothing can make me happy kind of energy. I'm not interested. Yeah, even the Four of Cups is an energy of people like wanting to give you their Ace of Cups, but you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm married. Look at me. Ain't never. I'm showing the wrong hand. That shows you. I should tell you a lot. I'm married. Sorry, or I have a man. I'm sorry. That kind of thing. But the Seven of Wands is all these wands trying to bother her. And she's just in here, her little sensual, like, nah, love, I'm good. I don't want nothing to do with that. So you're definitely someone who looks very peaceful. You keep your peace. Like, I just keep hearing stern, no nonsense, don't mess with me. You know, that kind of thing. Like, you're definitely giving, like, a teacher, principal, judge, lawyer kind of thing. Where you carry an air of, like, superiority over everyone else. And everyone kind of, like, wants your attention because of that. They're like, I want to be the person who cracks their cold smile, right? I'm also hearing Cold Cold Heart by Norah Jones. And melt your cold, cold heart. Okay, so there's something here about maybe you looking a little cold-hearted. Interesting. I mean, that's the King of Swords, though. So, like, emotionless, stoic, Ice Queen, Ice King energy for your face, for your vibes, that kind of thing, closed off, right? Now, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So you look like, okay, you have a house, you have a husband, you have a good head on your shoulders, right? You're looking responsible and grown. It doesn't matter what age you are, what you do, you look grown. Okay, like you have a bachelor's, you have a master's, and you have your own big house with 5 rooms and 3 bathrooms, and you have the kids, you have the wife, you have the 2.5 dogs, you have the white picket fence, you know, that kind of thing. Ten of Pentacles is also someone who looks like very stable, so you look like you have some change in your pocket, some money, right? And that's funny because the opposite was giving, I'm broke, do you need some spare change? That's funny. I think you're giving the opposite though. Even if you do have like a small amount of you in here that could be into that whole leisure, athleisure, looking a little bit like a bum energy. For most of you, you're coming through as someone who looks like money, right? Yeah. Now we have the Queen of Cups. And this is like the complete opposite to the King of Swords. So what's going on here? Okay, for your looks, maybe that's your vibe and your aura, but your looks are giving like maybe cutesy or womanly. Is what I'm hearing. Because we can have men watching this group and then we're going to have women watching this group. There's something here about you have curls, you have waves. There could be something here about you having colored hair. Okay? Yeah, but even though you do come off as someone who's like leave me alone, cold-hearted, you do have like a connected or tapped in or tuned in look to you. I don't know what that would even look like, honestly. Maybe you're wearing the crystals, you're wearing the beads, you're wearing the stones, you're wearing the head wrap, you're wearing the, I don't know, you're wearing the earthy vibe. I'm not sure what that could even mean. Very interesting. Because I would say the Queen of Cups is the complete opposite to the King of Swords. He's very much like, maybe you are someone who wears the flannel. If this is my men coming through, you wear the leather jacket, you wear the jeans, the boots, very alternative. You have a man bun, you have the beard going through, the intense eyes, as though he's mean mugging the heck out of somebody in the distance, right? You're giving this crow or this raven where it's like, ooh, beware, proceed with caution. Okay, for the men energy coming through. And then for the women, we have very light, very free, very flowy, dressy kind of energy. With this one here, we have sandals, we have textures, we have different cloths. That patterns is what I'm getting as well. And that can be what your looks are giving. Then here we have the Seven of Wands, and we have like someone who's wearing more athleisure wear, right? Then I love how with the Seven of Wands, we have the solar plexus illuminated here, which is playing into the whole confidence thing that I said. So you come through with someone who looks confident and disinterested in life. They don't want to know you, see you, or talk to you, right? Which is the complete opposite of your personality, which I love, honestly. And the Ten of Pentacles, yeah. Dresses is what I'm getting as well. But for like flowy stuff, you like to breathe in your thing. So breathable fabrics is coming through as well. For my women, you look very vulnerable, approachable. There's a difference here between your looks and your aura, guys. Like, I feel like your aura is definitely giving not interested, do not disturb, VIP. But then your, like, maybe your face is giving like cute or adorable or well-meaning or cherubic or angelic in some kind of way. And people are like, is that an angel? You know, and you're like, you know, I'm definitely getting attitude from them. I'm getting attitude, now walk off, right? From you guys. Literally attitude, now walk off. Who you talking to? I don't want to talk to you, boy. Is the vibe that's coming through. And then we have the Five of Wands, which is like a very maybe fighting energy. Fighting. Competitive. Trying to one-up somebody. Like you could beat somebody up. Like you'll win in every little thing they do. So maybe a little bit of like a, not entitlement, but like, yes, confidence coming through once again. Like a belief in yourself. We have the Peacock. Oh, okay. Pregnancy and wealth. The Peacock is also all about pride. So you look very prideful. And, you know, you carry yourself in such a way where you're like, oh yeah, that person like has their life together. They have a 401k. Whether you do or don't. It's like that person has their own home. They have a 401k. They have a good job. They have a degree. You know, they're leagues above me right now, right? They should be proud and prideful of themselves. And you are. We have love and new love. So your looks are definitely giving, you know, maybe lovey. I don't know how to describe love and new love for looks. And then we also had it for personality. No, this is personality. Sorry. You have a very loving personality. Sorry. Because we have the Two of Cups. And I mean, we did kind of get a little bit about that. We have mountain challenges and achievements. We have Scarab, nourishment and transformation. So you're like a jewel, a diamond in the rough. You don't meet a girl like her or a guy like her every dynasty. And then we have Horse, freedom and action. So definitely someone who does whatever they want. They go, they want to go, they say what they want to say. Is definitely the vibe that's coming through for you guys. I want to roll the dice real quickly. For personality, we have Scorpio. Ooh, intense, definitely. Okay. Very intense. We have 10th house, so career oriented, which is why career was coming through so much more than anything else. You're given career, businessman, businesswoman vibe, CEO, Fortune 500 company. Is that what they call them? And then here we have Mars. Exactly. Yes, very assertive, very aggressive, very in your element, very don't mess with me, very no nonsense. That kind of energy is coming through very heavily. For your looks. Some of you are very attractive, right? People want to know more about you, but your looks are always like, no, stay away from me. Because with the new love and the love coming through for the looks, it's kind of like, and there is something very imposing about you. I'm not going to lie. Because I was talking about the big black raven and talking about you could be big and black. I'm sorry. That's still very funny to me. But like big and dark, right? And that's not even worse. Oh, I'm going to be quiet now. Okay, some of you here could be darker, right? But that doesn't have to be the case. Lord, you can't say anything here on God's internet. It's crazy to me right now. I'm like, dark, oh, big and black, what? It just sounds wrong. Whew, but I don't mean it in that way. Okay, thank you. You are definitely giving rich, boss guy vibes. You can wear a lot of jewelry that looks expensive, right? I'm hearing for some of you can wear like an evil eye things to keep, you know, people from, because people look at you a lot. So it would make sense for you to like have some kind of protection. You could have like a protection stone, a rune, a necklace, a bracelet, something to kind of keep you protected. Yeah, and that's why we have that force field around you in the Seven of Wands. Now, we have Horse, freedom, and action. Maybe somebody like have long, unruly hair with the horse coming through for your looks. I'm hearing one-track minded for your looks. You're kind of giving, like I said, head straight ahead, head straight forward, not looking on both sides of you, just keeping walking to your destination because you're so single-handedly or single-mindedly focused. One of those. Some of you could be a little like you have some weight on you because we have pregnancy coming through with that wealth, right? So you're definitely giving rich. Okay, we have love, new love. I don't know how can that be translated to looks? Like, help me out, guys. What on you could be giving maybe pouty lips is what I'm hearing. Maybe you have like a very romantic look to you, right? Girly. Heartthrobby is what I'm hearing. This is a very well built horse. So like a lot of muscles and sinew and maybe height and maybe width, who knows. There's something here about you being like, very well developed in the body, okay? The horses are known for their big booty and they're known for carrying a lot of different weight. They can carry humans, they can carry hauls, they can carry loads. So very strong, right? I'm hearing some of you may have like a chin dimple or a butt chin is what I'm hearing, because those could be two different things. A butt chin, a chin dimple. With teeth coming through for your personality, I do believe you have nice teeth, a nice smile. There is something here about you wearing things that look expensive or looking expensive just in general. Okay, so before I keep chatting, you look very lovey-dovey. You look like a lover girl. Like, I want to fall in love, that kind of thing. But maybe you don't. Maybe you do. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I guess you would know. Because this is you, right? How you look and how you walk around is kind of like easily falling lovable, withable person. I can't with myself. Venusian energy. Libra, Taurus coming through. Very attractive. We'll leave it at that. Okay? Goddess looks. Goddess body. Right? Okay, so group 3s, when I was putting away your cards, I saw transformation, and nourishment once again with the scarab. And it kind of looks like maybe you're like very big chested, or you look like you could like support a baby, the boobs could be something coming through as well. But, nourishment was kind of giving me your body looks like it could nourish or house. And we have pregnancy and wealth. Yeah, exactly. You have the body that will make beautiful kids and have childbearing hips, child, you know what I mean? You have the body where men will look at it and say, wow, she will make nice babies, Because I think, like, back in the days or whatever, before we became domesticated humans, men would, like, find women that they knew would be able to have good babies based on her hips or something like that. There's some lore behind that. And that's the kind of thing that you have, right? So like I said, for those of you who are like thicker or bigger or stockier, have more body mass on you, you look like someone who's healthy, someone who eats, someone who can support and cook for her man or her woman, right? It's giving stay-at-home mom, perfect wife material vibes coming through, okay? So I just want to say that for your looks, okay? Now, we're back to your reading. I hope it resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We'd love to have you. If you would ever like to book a personal reading with me, you could always get in contact with me. Use my email in the description box below. But I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this reading. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye. Hello, my gorgeous group 4s. Still gotta get used to saying that. Hello, my gorgeous group 4s. Welcome to your reading. If you chose thumbnail image 4, group 4, number 4, welcome. Today we're going to be getting into what does your personality give versus your looks, okay? So when it comes to that, what are people feeling when it comes to you, okay? So let's get right into it. We're going to start off with personality for you guys. No, I heard looks. So we're going to start off with looks. What do my group... You look maybe a little sad and melancholy. You look very alert. Maybe I'm seeing somebody's eyes darting all over the place. So you look very alert. or you could just have really big eyes, right? For my group fours, please, for what do their looks give? What are their looks giving? Group fours. You could have a bubble butt, that's what I'm hearing. You can know how to whine really well. Ooh, we have 8 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. For their looks, please, Spirit. For their looks, my group fours. We have 9 of Cups. And then we have Justice. Okay, so you're giving someone who's quite attractive in looks. Okay, we have the Justice, we have the 9 of Cups, so even features, okay? There's a balance between the light and the dark, or the feminine and the masculine. If you are someone who has a mixture of both, is what I'm getting. They're very evenly balanced, okay? I'm getting something here about maybe blemishes or dark spots, okay? There's something here about that hyperpigmentation. That could be something that you struggle with. Because there's something here about like being in distress and wanting to walk away, but people still see you as someone who's really attractive. But there's something here about you maybe like hiding or closing yourself off from people physically, is what I'm getting. Because, or maybe you close in on yourself, if that makes some kind of sense to you guys. Let me get some more cards before I get into it. What looks are my group fours giving, please, Spirit? What looks? There could have been a physical transformation coming on here. You moving away from like always being self-conscious or not liking your body to moving into being perfectly look. And then we have the freaking scales. Exactly. Okay, yeah. So you went from someone who was maybe a little insecure about how you looked. You walked away from that part of your life. And you took a really long journey with the 9 of Pentacles to the body of your dreams that made you happy, the body that you desired. And now it led to a kind of confidence and clarity and like justice, right? So maybe you were someone whose top was too big for their bottom. Now you're more proportioned. Maybe you're someone whose bottom was bigger than their top. Now you're more well proportioned. Maybe you're someone who wanted to have an hourglass body, so you hit the gym to get those gains. And now you're someone who seems satisfied and happy with your body. So you went from someone who was like a little uncomfortable with their body. I'm getting the energy or the example of someone whose boobs were too big for them and they got like a breast reduction surgery, and now they're way more confident. They're not worried or sad or stressed or anxiety or anxious about how to find a bra in the perfect size, or anxious about how they look, right? Boy. So yes, we have justice and documents, okay? So maybe some of you could have had some physical alterations done to your body, surgery, or just cosmetic things. Like I'm getting the example of someone who doesn't like to do their eyebrows every day, so they kind of got their desired eyebrow laminated or filled in or tattooed on them, that kind of thing. Maybe you're someone who always wanted a beauty mark, so you went down the route of getting a beauty mark and now you got one tattooed on your face. Or you're someone who wears makeup and like adds on the freckles or adds on the beauty marks, or there's something here about you maybe, like I said, not liking how you look, so you altered something. You started wearing makeup to build up your confidence. You changed up your attire, your wardrobe, and now you're coming through with someone who's way more confident. But with balance, justice and documents coming through. While justice, the card, actually came through, there is something more even now about your features, right? Or maybe not, because we have the scale here and one boob, not saying boob, Lord. One scale is bigger than the other. So there can be something unbalanced, right? Something that was unbalanced that you fixed and it's now balanced, or something that's still unbalanced. So maybe you have one boob that's bigger than the other, right? Or I don't freaking know the examples I could use. That's the best example, okay? And now that's something that people will recognize about your looks, okay? Because if this is the scales, why are they not perfectly, you know, set, right? Okay, let's keep going. We have old man, inheritance, and male. So maybe some of you like don't want to look older, so you get like Botox or something like that, you know, things like that. The ring to get rid of the wrinkles, or I remember my best friend had like a lot of acne scars, so she went and did like extensive laser therapy on her face to kind of get rid of the marks. They never fully went away, but they look definitely better than they did before. That could be coming through as well. Yeah, and she had like a lot of hyperpigmentation on like the side of her face and stuff like that. And she wanted to get rid of it, so she went, you know, to, what do they call it, cosmetic, and did the laser whatever thing. And now, you know, or someone who usually has to wear glasses and they got LASIK, so they don't have to wear glasses anymore. Like extensive thought or money or something put into your looks is what's coming through. So you buy a lot of clothes, okay? You have a different wardrobe every day. You have a lot of shoes. People have seen you wear so many shoes, and you know, maybe a little bit of a fashionista, because Libra is ruled by Venus, and that's somebody who's like very fashionable, someone who's into the aesthetics of it all. So aesthetics are important to you. I guess I'm hearing stuff. It never fails. We have the wheel, endings and beginnings. Okay, that's what is like, you ended your phase of being uncomfortable in your body. Now you're beginning a phase of being more comfortable. I'm getting dark hair. Okay. Yeah, there's something here about being more carefree. Like, I don't know what this has to do with your looks versus personality, but maybe people are recognizing that you feel more comfortable, or someone who's like maybe a little bit bigger and they got the gastric sleeve to eat less, to lose weight, and they worked out with it. Now you're someone who like likes the way you look a lot more. That's the vibe that I'm getting. So you're coming through with someone who's like comfortable in their body now is kind of what I'm hearing. So it took some time, y'all. That had to come through, because that is also a part of your story. It took some time, but you got there. At the end of the day, here we have stability and security. Yeah, you're someone who's stable and secure in how you look and how you present yourself to the world, because now you're using all the creams and the serums and you're dressing yourself to look nice. So you put time and energy into how you look. Is what's coming through. You take this time to do the makeup, or you take the time to do the skincare in the morning and at nighttime. You take the time to do your hair. You know, there's never a hair out of place. You always look very well, you know, groomed is what I'm hearing. You could be someone who's really good at dressing yourself or others, and that's how people see your looks as well. You always have a look coming through. You could have a specific aesthetic coming through as well. You know what I mean? But something that definitely stands out, because there's something here about you being like somebody's hopes and dreams, or you being like dreamy, or someone's dream person with the 9 of Cups coming through, someone's wish come true kind of thing. And there could be something here about being scared about how you look or how somebody perceives you. Yeah, like maybe you're self-conscious, and you know, you're always fixing your hair, you're always touching up your makeup, you carry a camera with you. You could be someone who looks in all the like the reflective surfaces you pass by to make sure you still look good. Because there was, for a minute, I panicked for whatever reason, because I'm looking at the camera, and for whatever reason, I'm like, I thought the camera was facing the other way. You know, it wasn't facing me. You couldn't be able to see me. And I almost panicked, like, wait. You're not seeing what I want you to see. You're seeing something different. And that kind of spooked me for a little bit. So there could be something here where you're always putting something on. And if people see you maybe in sweats or pajamas, you kind of panic a little bit, because you want them to see you how you want to be seen, right? Period. Let me stop. Anywho, we have birds, which is news and messages. What would this have to do with looks? Birds always give me very dainty, or always maybe very colorful, very sing-songy, maybe siren-y is what I'm trying to go towards. You want to look your best. And you do look your best, because that's coming through in the reading for your looks, right? And this is looks, right? No, confused. The whole confusion is like the looks versus personality. What did I start with? I don't remember what I started with. I'm pretty sure we started with looks, okay? Anywho, I want to get some dice, roll some dice to see what else comes through for you guys. 8th house, okay? So very sexy. You have sex appeal. We have Aries. That's a double sex appeal, okay? And then we have South Node. Maybe some of you look young for your age. That could be coming through as well. I'm hearing regression. So, I mean, regression. That's like backwards. So maybe you're aging backwards. Maybe you used to look older and now you look younger. I'm like, what does that even mean? Regression. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. You kind of age backwards in looks. Yeah, the older you get, the younger you look. Okay, that we're gonna go with that. Because we have old man here, inheritance and male, and then we have the older you get, the younger you look, right? So before people are always like, oh, you're that age? I wouldn't have known you were that age, but then you reach a certain part. I'm hearing Saturn. You reach a certain part, you got older now. Or before, people say, oh, you look old, and now it's like distinguished. Now it's attractive for you to look, your age, okay? If that makes sense. Maybe you're someone who's like a, what do they call them? Not the opposite of an early bloomer, okay? Or no, you are an early bloomer. Maybe some of you guys were an early bloomer. You got the boobies quickly. You skyrocketed to the, the sky. You got really tall. Like you just grew up really fast, right? And then people were like, oh my gosh, you're the oldest in your class and you looked old, right? Because you were around people who were still haven't been developed. But it's kind of like giving me the thing where when older men in Hollywood get older, they're silver foxes. But when women get older, they're considered old. But there's a lot of people who are not, right? But they look even better now than they did before because they have the money, they have the maintenance, they have the routine, So you're definitely giving someone who gets into skincare and you take care of your hair and you go to the salon and you get them done and you get the nails and someone who has like a full beauty routine. And you can tell, okay? Someone who prioritizes comfort as well, because this guy here is kind of giving me someone who wears loose, breathable fabrics. Because he does maybe outside of work, he doesn't want to be in something that's going to constrict him and make him, not be able to breathe. So you want to be comfortable. Okay, because the same thing is coming through in this card here, which is wearing very loose fitting clothing because she's walking in the sand. So maybe you guys are giving maybe beach bum, right? I'm hearing leathery skin. Okay, relax. Maybe sunburned skin. Here in this card here, she's also wearing something very comfortable and cozy. But it's still stylish is the thing with you guys. It's very intentional. Even in this card here with 9 of Cups. So I'm getting the vibe that people wish they could dress more like you or they have your fashion sense or style. Okay. And then in the Justice card, she's also kind of wearing loose fitting, a robe or something, okay? So that could be your thing. Maybe you make comfortable and cozy look, fashionable. But you're definitely giving a more laid back, chill approach, even though you do a lot, okay? Even though you do a lot to maintain the beauty and the looks, it's not shown, right? But I would be upset. You better recognize that I took a lot of work to look like this. Don't tell me I don't look like I did a lot of work. I guess it's what people want. People who get a lot of work done, they don't want people to know they did a lot of work, right? It's giving the whole, the Christina Aguilera and Lindsay Lohan effect where they used to look, I don't really think there was nothing much wrong with Christina, but Lindsay, after she won her whole freaking drug bender. She was looking rough for a minute there. And she's someone who grew up very fast. She grew up right before our eyes and she just went down her really quickly. And now whatever surgeon she went to, now she's looking more beautiful than she ever has. And I'm like, okay, Lindsay, go off. The same thing with Christina Aguilera. She was always beautiful. She was a baddie back in her day, but she kind of got huskier when she had the kids, and that was made her insecure. She got bigger and she was always going up and down. Her weight was fluctuating, and now she's finally at a place again where she's looking better than she ever did, even though she's older than she's ever been. She's looking better than she ever has, even though she's older than she's ever been. That makes more sense to me. Okay. So that could be coming through, and people are talking about your looks. Because we have the birds chirping. Okay, but you're secure in yourself. That could be when people are talking about you're secure in your looks and how you present to the world that you don't really care what they have to say. You're giving carefree. Okay, that's cute. Maybe some of you could have an inheritance with documents here in justice and inheritance mail. Maybe a male figure in your life left you some money and you were able to finally do all the procedures you've been waiting to do. Or there are certain procedures you want to do that you're saving up for, one or the other. Okay, so looks, dark long hair is coming through, colorful hair is coming through as well, because the Nine of Cups, she has blue hair and she's giving like more, chunky, heavyweight, heavy set, whatever you want to call it. Then we have a guy coming through with very loose, breathable, beachy, artistic-y, you know what I mean, lives on an island kind of energy where you wear the clothes that, it covers some skin, but they're more like, it's still breathable. You're not going to be sweating and you're not going to be constricted and tightened, stuff like that. Then we have the girl here with the belt. So you can wear belts. Your waist could be coming through, very accentuated because it's coming through in the Eight of Cups and the Nine of Swords. But the meaning of the cards, the Eight of Cups is walking away from stuff. So maybe people like to watch you. Oh my gosh. I'm hearing, I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave. So I think you guys got bubble butt at the beginning of the reading. So you guys, people like to watch you walk away from them, even though they don't want to say bye, but they like the view. You know what I mean? In the song. Then we have a Nine of Swords, which is like a worried look. You always look worried or scared or maybe skittish. Maybe like a deer is ready to run away, Then we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is a very slow moving energy. So maybe you take your time. It's a slow moving energy. So maybe you take your time when you're going places. You walk you have a kind of walk to you, a strut, if you will, that people like to look at when it comes to your looks. Then we have the Nine of Cups. There could be something here about people loving how you celebrate yourself, or just a transformation you've gone through. For us, I keep hearing glow up. So you've gone through a glow up in looks, right? And then we have the Justice card. It's something you wanted and it's something you started, if that makes sense. Like you went on a journey and it's something you did from start to finish all on your own. Okay? Whether you paid for it or did it yourself naturally, it doesn't really matter, right? Okay. Now, the dice, we have South Node, Aries, and 8th house. So there is an intense grown folk adult energy to you. Okay? People find you very sexually attractive. Okay? You would have like a more round face or heart-shaped face for some of you is what I'm hearing. There's something, I keep looking at the Justice card, and not just the Justice card, but the reverse version of the Justice card. And look at how she's giving face. Yeah, you're definitely like tempting. Temptress is the vibe coming through for some of you here. Because her upright like this, she looks regular, she looks fine, whatever. But the dark, the allure, when that comes through, look at the look she's giving. Oh, like I'm going to snatch your soul kind of energy. So that can be also how people view you physically. Like you're going to snatch their soul, okay? With 8th house being Scorpio energy and the ruler of death, I must mention my alternative goth girlies coming through. Emo, whatever you want to call them. Y'all are coming through in this reading as well. And that's a part of your style that people do like. I'm hearing out of your league as well. So people may consider themselves or you to be out of their league. Okay. Now that was pretty straightforward. Now let's move forward with personality. Hold up. But yeah, with the wheel, like I said, there's something here about you going through a big change. Now, group force, please spirit their personality. What is their personality giving? These are a lot of cards. You know what? I'm gonna put y'all back. If I come back out, I'll take you. My group fours, what is your personality giving, please? Their personality. Is that the sun? And Temperance wanted to come on. I saw him. Okay, fine. We'll take you. Whatever. Is this the sun? No, 6 of Wands and Ace of Wands. Yeah. There's an allure to you guys. And then we have Judgment and Awakening. So when you come around, people like it, their interest is piqued. which is why it's kind of giving me you've gone through a change, or there's something very maybe out there, all alternative or different about how you look. Because when everyone else passes by, it's like, huh, whatever. When you pass by, like, oh, wait, who's this? Okay, right? You know? And I'm hearing that song, Snatch His Soul. I don't know the exact name of the song, but it's like Snatch His Soul. You know what I mean? And I think it has something to do with, you know, more adult things, right? So you kind of like they gasp and they're like, wait, who's that? There's whispers when you kind of walk into the room or walk by people, and that's what it's kind of giving, like, you know, that the dark side. Yeah, you make people wanna you make me wanna leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship with you. This is what you do. Stop it. Thinking about a ring and all the things that come along with it. You make me. Yo, exactly. Spirit said, let's put it in a song form, what you're feeling. Exactly. You walk by and people are like, oh, who's that? You know what I mean? And you forget all about the partner that's sitting next to you, standing next to you, because now you have a true siren in your midst. And you're like, oh, who's that? You know? So you get people talking, exactly, the whisperings and losing messages with the birds, okay? Okay. You could also deal with a lot of birds talking about you. You know how they call girls birds, use a bird. And I think it's like people who don't really have much of a brain. So maybe you don't look, okay, we're not going to try to insult my group force now here. Relax. Maybe there are people who talk about you but don't know about what you've been through. So they just see someone so very attractive and like, she thinks she all that, he thinks he all that, blah, blah, blah. But they don't know how long it's taking you to get to this feeling of being happy and free to be who you want to be. Period. Snap, snap. I love this for y'all. Period. Okay. Personality. Okay. Whew. Let me relax. Judgment is more Plutonian energy. Okay. It's an upheaval. It is an awakening. It is a fated event in your life happening. It is an inner calling. It's the inner baddie in you waking up, okay? But you're also, your personality does pique people's interest, right? So we have your looks piquing their interest, and we have your looks, relax, y'all feeling, okay? We have your looks piquing their interest, and we have your personality piquing their interest. So like people do like perk up when you come around, like, oh, who's that girl? Who's that girl? Na 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 na, Eve's that girl, right? So people are like, wait, who's that? She just walked in, you know what I mean? There's something here about like your presence awakening like the primal urges in certain people. It could be men, it could be women, it doesn't really matter, okay? I'm hearing the Ruby Rose effect. She did come to another reading. So if you felt called to another reading, you may want to watch it. Or if this is not resonating, you may be called to another reading. But I was telling people how like when Ruby Rose first came out, she looked like, of course she was a girl, okay, born female, but she looked so masculine. I was confused. When she first came out and I saw her, I'm like, is that a man or a woman? Either way, take me now. I don't care. She was so attractive. And I'm like, wait. Like, you walk in and you see the way she carries herself and her personality. You're just like, oh. Hello, right? And I'm like, she caught me by surprise. So I'm like, wait, I don't think I like girls. What you doing, Ruby? You know what I mean? And she just came in like a wrecking ball. And everyone was like fiending over her and drooling over her. And I'm like, men, women alike. I'm like, oh, hello there. You know? So maybe you'll have like a tattoos. You have like a very intense energy and intense stare. Maybe some of you have like shorter hair, but you still make it work whether you're a female or a male. And there's something about that coming through where it doesn't matter how you look. There's just a vibe you give off. That's like, oh, she's that girl, right? Mm-hmm. You have the Ace of Wands, so personality-wise, you're definitely someone who's very, I'm hearing thought-provoking. You're definitely someone who's very interesting. You're someone who's very deep. You're someone who's very maybe passionate, excited. You're excitable. You're very, I'm hearing giggling. So maybe you're someone who's like always laughing. You're always giggling, you know, and that kind of contradicts the intense vibe that's even coming through in personality with the Judgment card. But it's kind of like being free to be yourself, being 100% authentic in who you are when it comes to your personality in the Judgment card. And now we have the Ace of Wands. So like very, I don't know. I'm trying to say something that's not like people want to, that's not overtly sexual is what I'm trying to get at in this Ace of Wands. But it's like, it's kind of hard when the Ace of Wands represents having a little hard on for somebody or something. So maybe you're someone's like very eager to get to know people, you're very friendly, you know what I mean? Very sociable as well. Now we have Six of Wands. So you're definitely someone who's like popular girl energy. People want to get to know you and talk to you some more. You're giving someone who could be a little bit successful personality wise, or popular with the people. You're popular with people is what I'm getting. People always want to come and give you compliments as well. This is supposed to be personality. Let's get it together. We have Temperance, and then we have Five of Pentacles. Okay, so some of you are more of a loner energy. You guys are more of a loner energy. My group 4's personality. We have the moon cycles and change. Okay, so you could be someone who's very moody or mercurial, and that's coming through as well. So I'm not really getting much from the cards when it comes to personality. So you can be a very private person, and people don't really get to see a lot of your personality because it's not really coming through. Or maybe they're just so fixated on your looks, so that keeps coming through as well. Or maybe your someone doesn't have a personality. No. Just because I read cards don't mean I know everything. Let me stop. We have nourishment, we have transformation. This is transformation you went through. I feel like I'm reading it once again for your looks. Like, it's not making sense to me. Okay, we have old woman, sadness, and female. Okay, that is that maybe emo alternative vibe coming through for you guys. Can I get... Okay, thank you. Personality, we have groom, husband, marriage. Which is very funny because there's another group in today's reading that got wife, engagement. And here we have husband, marriage. Okay, so you're giving marriage material, boyfriend material, girlfriend material. Your personality could definitely be someone who's like an outcast. You don't act like everyone else. Because the Five of Pentacles is an energy of being on the outs, of not being included in what everyone else is doing, feeling like an outsider. And that's something that's coming through your personality. Maybe you enforce these, you enforce that on other people where you're like, oh, I'm not like you, I'm different. You keep yourself away from everyone, which is kind of that I'm getting. Which is kind of the vibe that I'm getting because I'm not getting much from your personality. Okay? There you go. We have Temperance. Okay? Maybe a little boring, I don't know, but that's not coming through with the... Maybe you can go from being like your social battery runs out. Okay, let me get the dice for this to get some extra help. For my group 4s, please. What is your personality giving? We have Leo. Okay, yeah, so very warm, very friendly, very outgoing. We have 12th house, but also very private. And then we have Jupiter. Can you bring you behind over here? And then we have Jupiter. So you're very lively. You like kind of like attract all the attention in the room. You know what I mean? I don't want to say like it revolves around you, but people can't help but look over at you, every once in a while to see what you're doing, if you moved, where you've gone, because they're kind of like transfixed in some kind of way, okay? Jupiter for personality is definitely giving someone who's very philosophic, or you care about people is what I'm getting, right? He's the great benefic Jupiter. He's making sure everyone is good. He's bringing abundance. He's bringing happiness. He's bringing the good vibes, bringing the good times. And that's also the Ace of Wands, right? So people feel very happy and on fire around you. And that could mean physical or, they're like, oh yeah, this person's kind of like sparked something in me, right? I'm trying to keep a look at the time. Okay, Judgment, someone who's very much themselves. Like we went over that already. We have the moon cycles and change. So yeah, you changed. I think we touched on that already. You have sadness, female. So maybe you go from someone who's like nourishing and, center of attention to someone who could be more like, somber and quiet and introspective. That's the two different sides of you. The low energy person who could be a little bit sad, a little bit reserved, a little bit to themselves. no one likes me kind of energy to someone who's like very on. They're like an actor or actress. That could be something coming through. People feel like you act, but at the end of the day, you're someone who's more like really sad inside. Because we have the Five of Pentacles and we have sadness female, so it is giving that kind of energy. And they're all like, they're both cowered in on each other. With the excuse me, I don't know, I've been coughing lately. It's annoying. We have Five of Pentacles. She's very crouched on herself, and then we have the old woman who's all okay. So how rude! I got cut off. And it said no more storage. So maybe you kind of, your social battery gets full really quickly, and then you kind of get more reserved and into your shell, don't really want to talk to anyone after you, because you come out hot. You come in hot, right? Everyone's talking, you're lively, you're happy, you're good, but then as soon as like the night goes on and they get to know you more, they realize there's like a more removed part of you that wants you to just be by yourself. You need to recharge your social battery, and you're like a little bit of an outcast. You're not like everyone else. So maybe when they first meet you, they're so like overcome by your attractiveness that they think, oh, you're like everyone else, but you're really also not. And then we have husband and marriage. So your marriage material, and I would say Jupiter is kind of like the husband. In astrology. This husband archetype. The husband archetype. But I'm also thinking it's more so Capricorn. I feel like mom and dad to me is Capricorn and Cancer. Jupiter is like Sagittarius energy. So you're like life of the party, good vibes. You're dancing, you're playing, you're singing, you know, lively. But then there's also moments where you're kind of like more quiet, right? Because like I said, we have the 12th house, Five of Pentacles, old woman, sadness female, right? So that keeps coming to them. We have cycles and change. So I really do think that maybe you have like a very low social battery, maybe. But fun, passionate. You're like the star of the show. So maybe you're, yeah, because I feel like how a lot of celebrities say when they're not on stage, like, or as soon as they leave the stage, the high leaves, and it's like, you get the high of being around people, but then sometimes you're like, okay, now I'm done, you know? I'm burned out. You get burned out really quickly, okay? Excuse me. Then we have temperance here. So I'm hearing someone's like very gentle, someone's very angelic, maybe someone's a little soft spoken is what I'm getting as well. I'm hearing a true romantic because I'm seeing the Leo that's coming out, and Leo was someone's like more romantic. Maybe people see you as someone who was looking for a husband, or your husband could be a big part of your personality. You could have like a specific, what do you call it, masculine energy in your presence or in your energy that people are like, oh, whenever we see her, we see him, you know, that kind of thing maybe. This is very interesting. But definitely main character vibes is coming through for you guys with a little dash of intense loner vibe. And I think people spend a lot of time trying to like decipher you, and it just leads to maybe uncomfortable silences. I feel like I've been quiet for so long and I'm not really getting any messages. I feel like that's the reading. It's over, you know? You have like a very overactive imagination. You keep very much to yourself. Like you could be the main character energy when you're ready, but other times you want to be left alone. It's the kind of energy that I'm getting from you guys. And it's like, it like switches really quickly. Yeah, it switches really quickly with you guys. So I'm like, oh wait, how did we go from being happy and center of attention to, and then we have dog, loyalty, determination. How cute little doggy. And then again we have gate, opportunities, home, and just some more context. We have moose, acceptance, and eccentric. We could have somebody watching all of the groups. because that moose has come out for like 2 other groups, and now it's coming out again for you guys. So we can have somebody like watching all of them. But you're definitely someone who's very bright until you're not, is what I'm hearing, right? Okay. You're very deep, though. You're a very deep thinker, is what I'm getting as well. And it makes a lot of sense here because temperance is like the balance between light and dark. The sun and the moon. Yeah, I might just leave you reading right there. That's all that I'm really getting, honestly. I can't, nothing else is coming through. So maybe you're like someone who's like a closed book until you open it, and then when you do open it, there's not much you really give people. You kind of like cut it real quick again, you know? Or you're a creative and people want to get close to you. They come watch your shows and want to know more about you. But when you're not performing or on stage, you kind of want to be left alone. It's the vibe that I'm getting. Like a celebrity who comes on stage, gives their whole heart, their soul, and they can be someone who's usually like so quiet in real life, but on stage they take on a different persona. So you could have like a persona. I'm hearing something here about maybe you have to drink or something to get out of your shell. You know what I mean? Like it's taking me a long time to decipher your energy, so you're really hard to read for people. But you come through with someone who they want to know, who seems to be quite popular, who's good at talking to people, who has a lot of ideas, who's very creative, who's very much themselves, right? So if you're feeling like you don't want to talk to anybody, you're going to sit there and look them in their face and be straight quiet, right? If you want to be talkative, you're going to be talkative. So it's kind of like, it's like rope, is it whiplash is what it is? Like, wait, who am I getting today? I'm not 100% sure. And that's kind of what the balance card wanted to come through could be saying as well. Something is not like the other, right? You present as someone who's very popular, who likes people, but really deep down, maybe not. You like to be by yourself. And that could literally be what this is. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to stop because I'm really baffled. I don't know. I'm done. Yeah. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the tribe. We love to have you. If you'd ever like to book a personal reading with me, you would always get in contact with me using my email. Then you have the Empress at the bottom of the deck. Ugh. The Empress at the bottom of the deck. What does she want? Let me stop. The Empress at the bottom of the deck for like personality is like, you know what, it's giving very quiet, very demure, a little bit shy, a little bit reserved. You don't really know where you fit in or how you fit into society, but society likes you. Society likes you, society loves you, but there's something here about you not knowing if you love society, right? I'm hearing society. You know, the Joker, how he wanted everyone to be, you know, he wanted to be a character. As soon as he was getting attention, he loved it. But every other time in his life, everyone would ignore him, you know? So it's kind of like you don't know how to act because maybe you went through the phase of not being attractive and now everybody wants to be in your face. You're like, oh, y'all are fake, leave me alone. I used to be an outcast and all of a sudden y'all want to see me as popular. You know, that kind of thing could be coming through and it's not funny at all. But it's like, I love that for y'all because for real, you wasn't checking for me when I wasn't looking like this. Now all of a sudden I'm giving popular girl energy and y'all want to be my friend. Y'all was ignoring me before. And you still are that person who they ignored. It doesn't matter that your looks have changed. You're still fundamentally the person everybody was not looking for or checking for. Because now we have the Empress at the bottom of the deck where this person was hidden. Now all of a sudden y'all want to know more about me. Nah, leave me alone. How about that? Is what I'm getting, okay? So yeah, I'm not going to leave a reading right there. I don't know where that came from, but I'm like, check the bottom of the deck. Maybe you can give them a little bit more before they go, right? You're definitely giving like very magnetic, very mysterious, very quiet. That's the siren coming through where you don't have to talk. You're getting a little scary, intimidating. When you do sing and when you do talk, you get people jumping to their deaths. Yeah. Okay, now I'm done. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day whenever you're watching this. And as always, I will see you gorgeous people in the next one. Mwah. Bye.